It's Connor and Mike. Super podcast.
Friday. Hi, guys. What's up?
Good morning.
Hello.
How we doing?
Just trying to get the internet to work. No ants, so I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I'm pretty good.
You've traded ants for lack of computer.
Yeah, I mean, it seems actually, honestly, not that worse of a bad, not a bad deal. I'll take that deal.
Really? You don't want to have a computer?
Well, I would like to have a computer, but if I can do the show either way, right?
you could.
But the ants
been
were
done
fairly
before.
distracting. The computer can also be distracting.
You did
Here-
forget your entire computer
Yeah.
one time.
And honestly, I don't really need it to do the show that much. It's nice to have, obviously, the right equipment for us to do the StreamYard and all of that.
Nick Grimm was
Otherwise, though,
triggered.
I mean, we're at the end of the week. We just had the NFL draft. I have a phone if I need to look something up in a pinch.
It's true.
I feel like I can do this.
All right, so you're just tossing it out the window.
I'm not tossing it out the window. I'm going to restart the computer. I don't know why it's not working. I'm not a tech expert.
All right. Well, we will sort that out as we go on throughout the first couple minutes of the show this morning. Jake Janacek's Kansas City Chiefs, they drafted people last night.
Yes, they did.
In the
Two of
first
them.
round of the NFL draft. He wasn't sure about how to feel about really either of their picks, I don't think.
Well,
right?
I'm happy with the 29th pick. I'm happy with Woods. But
Okay.
I'm just trading up for Mansour. That's the one thing that I'm not too sure about. But Schaefer said that it should help the defense right away. I mean, we did lose 4 defensive backs. So it's something we did need. But
I mean, they basically replaced McDuffie
Yeah.
with Delane, and depending on who you talk to, that's the best corner in the draft. So
I always like it when teams are convicted with what they're attempting to do, and they're just like, yeah, we're gonna definitely draft a corner, the best corner by far available in the draft, and we're gonna go for it. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I always like when they're like sure about themselves. And there was a few teams that made some moves last night and maybe went off script a little bit as well. We'll get to some of those on the Friday show today. We'll look ahead at a big weekend, baseball coming up this weekend. Hopefully the weather stays like okay around here for some baseball to be played in downtown
have you looked
Omaha.
at Sunday?
I just know that it's I didn't see anything that reached the 70s for a little while. I was a little disappointed by that.
Yeah, no 70s this weekend, but you can expect rain apparently on Sunday.
All right, well,
So-
maybe we'll be at the ballpark all day long on Saturday.
That might be the smarter choice of your options.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate because you have the cancer awareness game on Sunday.
Well, we'll find a way to
Yeah.
get that in there. That's for sure. Here's a text from the 515. It's directed at you, Mike Schaefer.
Oh no.
Schaefer, I'm thinking the Vikes bunted foul with 2 strikes. Thoughts?
I assume we'll get into that conversation at some point in time. But
The Minnesota Vikings bunt foul with 2 strikes.
I wasn't expecting that particular name to be called at 18 at that point in time. But some organizations just can't help themselves.
You really wanted the Purdue, Oregon guy.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
and then you ended up letting him go to Matt's team.
I know. But then I saw him walk out with his shades on inside, and I was like, all right,
Yeah, I thought
this
that was
guy's
questionable.
vibe doesn't fit what I want it to be.
I thought altogether it was a very questionable set of personalities last night. We had some really truly horrendous first interviews.
I mean,
we had some real bad ones.
I think that I think it was the Chiefs with Peter Woods, where he's got his not quite black suit on, surrounded by everyone else wearing white. And then the thing that was most jarring to me was in the background, all of the pictures behind him were of like classic cars. Like you were in someone's classic car hangout spot.
Okay.
and everyone's wearing white, and you're wearing black, and then you get a full out view of it, and every hat in the NFL is on a table in front of them, so you can be prepared no matter what. And it was just like, it made me sort of pine for the days where everything was a little less organized, produced, and more natural.
I know.
And less of a like,
You would get actual reactions to things.
I'm going to make an event out of this.
Yeah.
And, that's my old man take of the day.
Yeah. Fernando Mendoza, he was the guy who, I mean, he was pretty prepared. He wasn't going to go to the green room in the draft at Pittsburgh because he wanted to stay with his mom, who the story has been told many, many times, but she's, what does she have? She can't travel. I don't want to say incorrectly what she might has, but she's got a long-term illness that she's dealing with, and so he wanted to stay with her, and he had a Raiders hat all ready to go, and put it on, and that was it. They played, so they had one. We'll get into this as
it's multiple sclerosis.
There you go. Yeah, sorry.
I mean, that's what I thought it was, but it's like one of those where
I didn't want to say it wrong. I didn't want to say it wrong. But I was mostly talking about the dudes who were at the actual draft, walking down the hallway, which I like the hallway. And then they leave the one hat in the mirror right there, so you get them to put it on in the mirror, and they get the camera shot of that. And then they come out and they shake hands and they hug the commissioner, and then they do an interview, a 2-second interview with Laura Rutledge, and they were all terrible. Yeah, I didn't see one good one last night. I didn't see one where I was like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get this guy. If I was a fan of that team, I was like, I can't wait to get this guy on my team. What a dynamic personality that I'm excited for.
I thought the draft coverage was not particularly great last night.
Well, we'll get to that a little bit later. Yeah.
So, okay. All right. I'll bank those sides.
Because that depends on where you watched it and like what network you watched it on.
Sure, yeah.
There is, of course, the sob story draft, which is on ABC. Yeah, that's the sob story draft. They're appealing to a different crowd on ABC.
Did you have Tom Rinaldi out there like trying to make people cry?
So ABC, it was Reese Davis. It was basically the College Game Day crew.
Yep.
Okay.
On ABC.
Glad I skipped that one.
Yes. On ESPN, it was Mike Greenberg, Greeny, and then everybody else. And then there was an NFL Network production of the draft as well, and all three of them sort of give you different things.
Sure.
But it was the fast draft last night. I was a little concerned about the 4-hour potential length of the draft. We did not even approach that, which was very, very exciting.
Done about like what 10:10?
Yeah, it was. I thought it was very succinct.
I was like, this is amazing.
I thought it was very succinct. I was extremely happy.
I did appreciate that.
We got a YouTube comment from Wes. Has anyone checked on John Bishop with the Rams taking Ty Simpson with their first pick and the 2 new Husker coaches getting players drafted the first round? Could be a good thing, right? Yes. I mean, sure. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. I have not checked in with John, but I am excited to hear the reaction based off of the prediction that was made yesterday. Now, I don't know.
Proclamation gone wrong.
I don't know where John came up with this. I'm not sure. Like, they were going through some predictions for the draft and some over-unders and some will this happen, won't this happen? And you'll hear the question that they pose on Unsportsmanlike Conduct. And then John became pretty sure of one particular thing that did indeed end up happening. Here is the guys from Unsportsmanlike Conduct yesterday.
Ty Simpson be taken by a team other than the Cardinals. Now, this is
whoa, what's this one? What? So we get the field?
Will Ty Simpson be taken by a team other than the Cardinals?
Is that the question?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he's going to go tonight, the Cardinals are the only team, right?
Ty Simpson?
Yeah. In the first round?
You don't think another team could take Ty Simpson? You're
In the
talking about the
first round?
quarterback? Yes.
Yeah.
The Rams could. The Steelers could.
The Rams are not taking him at 13.
No.
there you go. At the end, he was quite certain of it. The Rams are not taking him at 13, and that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did. We were talking about Ty Simpson yesterday, and wondering if he would be a first rounder. And not only was he a first rounder, he was in the middle of the first round as like a priority type. He's obviously a priority pick for the Rams. I'm so excited about this. This is great.
That did not go how John thought it would go. And really, I don't think there was a lot of people that expected Ty Simpson to go that early. It was wild because there was so many trades at the end of the draft. And then you have this stretch where it's like, the Rams are one of them. The Vikings are one of them. I think there's other teams in there where it sure felt like you took somebody because you wanted that player, but the value of where that player lined up in your draft slot did not. So like you could have moved down to get the same player later.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the offers just weren't there or what, but given that Reuben Payne Jr. was still on the board, someone somewhere had to have been offering something for that pick at 13. I mean, I'm genuinely shocked that guy fell to 15. I think it's a slam dunk for the Bucks, but I'm more, if not, I'm certainly more surprised that Ty Simpson went 13th overall.
So I think it was we'll get to this later on as well, but like it was such a polarizing draft because there's not a whole lot of standouts.
No,
it's just like,
a lot of great depth.
These are the guys that everybody agreed that were going to be the first round ish picks.
And a lot of linemen.
And it was a lot of linemen. And so it becomes very polarizing because there will be people who like, plant their flag next to a name and then they'll be defending it for the last month. Shout out to Dan Orlovsky and Ty Simpson. Like that's kind of what was happening. And there's a lot of people who thought that, X person, that person was, and then there's art. So it's a good narratives draft because it generates a lot of chatter.
Yeah.
Just amongst the actual individual people, not so much like the general popularized chatter because there was the lack of quarterbacks. And so what happened last night is there was teams going up and down and up and down and up and down and all those different things because of what you just said. And because everyone seemed a little bit terrified that their guy was going to go off the board before, before they actually, before that was actually going to happen. And so that was the scaredy cat draft last night. It was really, really fun to watch.
Certainly for some teams.
Yeah. It was,
unfortunately for me, one in particular.
Yep. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. So very, very excited for John to defend Ty Simpson today with all of his might. We receive a text on the text line from the 402. Connor, Gus Johnson would have done well with that draft. Oh, can we get some Jake? Can I play some of this here? Thank you, appreciate it. The Rams have drafted Ty Simpson at 13. John.
Oh no! Disaster! What a bad idea! Oh my goodness!
Oh.
It's a tough one.
Hey, if Sean McVay signs off on it, you gotta feel pretty good about
the
that.
The other thing that happens is when you have guys who, once again, the draft is the way that I just explained it. You have players that end up on teams, and you just are forced to say, "Oh, that's going to work out because they were drafted by that team." And like, as weird as it is to say, and as much as I don't really get it with Ty Simpson, him ending up on the Rams is the best possible thing for his development track in his career. So if there was a chance for it to work out for him, which maybe there was in the first place, if there was a chance for it to work out for him, he needed to land in a good situation, and he did.
Yeah,
he very much did.
Won't have to play immediately with a guy who's got a quarterback-friendly offense. You have some time to develop. The weird thing is, if you're the Rams and it's like, hey, we're in the NFC Championship game, and we have this unusual position of a first-round pick because normally we trade these out, and we only have it because we traded last year with the Falcons, who gave up a ransom for James Pierce. To use it on a quarterback that won't play for you this year is kind of wild, given where they were a year ago. So they have to feel that strongly about Ty Simpson.
Yep, that's it.
Which to you and I
It's funny,
wild.
but I appreciate that they're convicted about it.
Yeah, I mean,
I really do.
if you're gonna go down, go down with conviction, I guess.
Husker Homer has been commenting in this morning during this first segment. NU is so far away from being competitive. It's sad. 4 Big Ten teams had at least 2 first-rounders. Emma Johnson will go 4th round, number 6 running back taken. He is their only draft pick. Sad. Husker Homer, and then he started off the show with, OSU 4 first-rounders, ND running backs picked ahead of EJ, will be taking 6 running back. This draft shows how far away NU is on the talent scale. Year 4, 4th rounder, maybe. Everyone knows this. It's okay. Nebraska is not close to Ohio State in talent. Nebraska, in my opinion, people always talk about this crap. Nebraska, in my opinion, should not be attempting to chase down Ohio State in terms of talent. That is a unicorn. They had like a million top 10 picks last night.
Sure.
Did you see those guys?
I saw those.
Nebraska is never going to have that. Never. They're never going to have that.
I mean, it's very unlikely.
No, they're never going to have that. They are never going to be Ohio State. They're never going to. What was it? 4 top 10 picks?
Yeah. Was it 4 or was it 3?
4 and 5, 7 and 11.
Okay. 3 top 10 picks.
4 out of their first
4
11.
out of the first 11. Yeah.
Never.
Which, the crazy thing is, there's a real argument that Caleb Downs is the best out of those guys.
I know. Yeah.
And he went the last out of that group.
Right.
So, there's that.
So just just stop talking about this. Of course, Nebraska is not close to Ohio State in terms of talent. What air is breathable? You need water to live. Same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry, I couldn't come up with any better analogies there.
I don't recall Iowa having
Give me a
anyone
break.
taken in the first round there. I don't recall Minnesota having anyone taken in the first round there.
But that's not the point. Whatever.
What I'm saying,
Nebraska compared to Ohio State. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop.
Right. Well, even just divorcing yourself of that, talking about first round picks as if that's what's holding Nebraska back is moronic. You're losing to these other teams that didn't have first round picks.
That's another great point.
So,
Separate conversation.
Just
but
don't even
point.
talk
Yes.
about the Ohio State piece. Absolutely. Don't worry that they aren't having first round picks taken. Other teams aren't having first round picks taken.
And they're still losing.
And still winning games.
Yes.
Those teams are winning games.
Right.
And beating Nebraska.
Absolutely.
So, it goes beyond just that. Now, if you want to get in a conversation that Nebraska has to have better talent or more developed talent, sure, I'll have that. But the idea that they need to match first round picks with these teams.
So Husker Homer says, Happer, can't wait for July when you try to hype the team. First of all, good luck. Second of all, you don't have to have 5 first round picks to be good.
Yeah.
Ohio State is a outlier. Ohio State is the most talented program in the country. Stop comparing yourself to them. You're not going to be them from any level. You can be good without being Ohio State. You can make the playoff without being Ohio State. You could be better than your talent says you are without being Ohio State. Nebraska has, and actually, you know what? Nebraska, or you as a program, can beat Ohio State without being Ohio State. You could actually win a game. It's certainly possible. People look at this in a black and white situation. Stop it. Give me a break. We are off and running on a Friday. Today, coming up on the show, Michael Seir will join us to talk about the draft. Jake Sorensen will join us to talk about Royals blame pie charts in the 9 o'clock.
I need to send a
hour.
reminder text on that just in case.
Very, very excited. He can come up with something on the fly if he forgot about it. So that's good. Those are our guests today. Our city of the day is coming up in a little bit. We'll head to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the home of the NFL draft. Did you see the yellow bridges last night?
I did. Did you hear Roger Goodell say that 320,000 people packed in to watch that draft?
I did.
I don't know that I believe that number. That's such a staggering amount of humanity.
It's like when people go to parades and they're like, there's 5 million people at the parade. It's like
nobody can count.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Right. They take the aerial shots.
We're just guesstimating.
Oh, I actually might believe, because they were pretty packed in there.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying that they didn't have a mass of humanity.
Right.
But that is the equivalent of Lincoln in that area to watch the draft. Pittsburgh's actual population not its metro, but its city population is less than the amount of people that were alleged to have been in the area for that draft.
Oh, sure, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, that is a massive amount of
That's
people.
a lot of people. Yes.
Like,
I have my
huge
doubts.
amount of people.
I have my doubts. That's
Yeah.
for sure. So that is coming up in just a little bit. We'll have our Friday shout outs. If you have a Friday shout out, get it in. And here are some ways to do that. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. You could call or text that number. Tweet at us on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happer and Schaefer, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer. Once again, that's the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Mike at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers who have already found a way to trigger me this morning. Husker Homer keeps talking about first rounders. I just told you there's Nebraska's not Ohio State. They're not going to have a first rounder.
Tell him who's going to be a first round pick next year.
They're not going to have one.
But he wants you to tell him.
They're not going to have one.
Tell him.
I'm telling him they're not going to have
Yeah,
one.
but he's asking. He's asking nicely.
I know.
Well, give him a break. He's upset.
I'm giving him a break. I said, give me a break. You don't get to say, give me a break. I say, give me a break. Give me a break, Husker Homer. So get in your Friday shout outs. I'd like to Friday shout out people with brains to start off the Friday show. That's what I'm doing right now. So shout out to all you people out there, some of which are listening and some of which are not. We are back after this on 1620 The Zone. Hey, so later on, draft related, we will absolutely hype up the team by saying that Jeep Wade got a dude drafted in the first round last night.
Whoa.
As did someone who played in Rob Orich's defense last year.
Chris Johnson.
And then one of Chris Johnson's teammates now plays here.
Two
of them.
whole
They now
teammates.
play in Nebraska. I'd say they're both going to be first rounders.
I'm going to disagree. With you.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully people don't hold me to that. So it was the fast draft last night.
Yeah, it really was.
I loved the fast draft. I was like, but by the time we hit probably about 12, 13, 14, I was sitting there like, whoa, are we cooking right now? Or like, are we going really? And they were like, it was a pointed effort to speed this thing along, which great job by ESPN and all the people who were running the show back there with the NFL. Great job.
The thing that's wild is I think it was an even faster draft in person than what they were doing on television. Like they were slowing it down because if noticed in the background, like teams would be on the clock 2-3 picks ahead of where the television production was.
Yeah, they would say like the pick is in immediately once the guy got off because you have to do the whole song and dance with the guy walking through the hallway in the interview and all that. And then it's like, pick's in.
They have it scheduled out where they don't allow a pick in between like an 8-minute block or something like that. So it's just really, it could be even faster, but if you're getting this done in 3 hours, like I'm happy to commit to that for the most part.
100%.
Compared to, I can't remember what year it was where it went into 11.
I just don't like going into something where there's, where there's really no basis for a time limit. I mean, obviously,
college football.
Yeah, like college football, you mark out 3.5 hours. College basketball, you mark out like 2:10.
Yeah.
College baseball, you mark out 9.5 hours. No, you mark out 3. I
was gonna ask, did you have any triggering moments yesterday where you just recalled what happened to you on Wednesday night?
No, I forgot all about it.
That's good.
It's just I put
That's
it out.
healthy. You moved on.
But like a baseball game, 2.5, 3 hours, whatever. The NFL draft was basically like, yeah, it'll end when it ends. You'll figure it out, And it really isn't ending, obviously, because the draft will continue today and into the weekend. But there was no real time limit on any of it. You would just look up at your clock at 9:30 and you would see that you were in the 18th pick and you would think, oh my God, we got a long way to go here. And really the action is just now starting. So shout out to the fast draft. Very excited about the fast draft last night. And then there was the variety of different ways, of course, you could take in the draft, which it sounds like we all watched on ESPN. Yes.
No, I was on NFL Network.
NFL Network is for the football people.
My girlfriend wanted to watch the ABC one.
Okay.
So,
this
more
is
with the sob story. So
this is exciting. Now, how many sob stories were? Because I was watching on ESPN.
Yes.
And then I had to switch TVs, and I went down to my basement, and then my YouTube TV thought I was watching it on ABC or something like that. So I turned it on. I was like, this is different. And they immediately started doing a story about the guy who has a lisp.
Do we know who that is?
Concepcion.
Okay.
Yeah,
the A&M receiver.
Yeah, and about
Who's
all
now with San Francisco that took him? No, they traded out of the first round. Who?
Cleveland.
Okay. All right.
The Cleveland Browns. It was instantaneous. And I was like, oh, I wonder actually what goes on the ABC draft. Was it more of that, Jake, throughout the night?
It definitely was. Also, they don't really interview the players, they interview parents.
Instead. Incredible.
So you kind of get the
I like
it.
There's something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's the family draft, there's the / crying draft, and then there's the halfway between the mixed draft. I think that's ESPN. It's a little bit of pop culture and stories and lights and flash, but also football. And then NFL Network is the football draft. It's football.
I kind of wish other sporting events had this sort of opportunity to where, if you watch the College World Series, you didn't have to. There'd be a portion of the coverage or a channel that you could go to where you weren't going to get 700 shots of the pitcher's parents after every single thing that happens. Like the way they have turned some of the production of the College World Series into the Little League World Series
Yep.
is just infuriating to watch. Like it's difficult because it's like after every pitch we have to go on the batter or the pitcher's parents.
There
every time.
are a lot of stories inside, like with an event like that where there's 8 teams. There are so many stories that are baked into that, and so like from a production standpoint, you're looking at how many things can you get pre-produced and how many things can you have on the hook, especially for games that are long and slow and whatever. So I get it, but yeah, I agree. It feels like
just give me one where it's like, okay, you know, and it's not that you can't do it. Like it's that
why don't they do mega casts for everything?
Right.
Like we have.
No, that's a fair. I mean, ESPN has more than enough properties to do that.
We have so many channels, and we could just add channels. Like, why don't we just every single game that exists? Why doesn't every single game have a mega cast where you get the video feed from whoever you're getting it from, and then you could pipe in the radio, like on your television.
Yeah, that would be nice.
It would be great. What would hurt the television networks? They don't get to listen to their talent blabber on about nonsense.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I guess they don't get to control the narrative as much with that. But also, I'm
a sampler. I like to sample around. I like to listen to the losing team radio calls sometimes. Those are a lot of fun.
I mean, I do when it's the White Sox giving up a walk-off home run
and Hawk Harrelson is
involved.
Just incensed. Yeah,
it's been a few years since that has been a moment of pride in my life.
It has.
Yeah, I mean, what you describe is effectively how I would use MLB TV every now and then, where it's like, all right, I'm getting Tom Hamilton on the call, but I have the television broadcast.
It's tremendous.
So I can watch it. That's great. I get everything I want out of this. A lot of people, like set it up themselves to be able to watch Nebraska football with a local call versus, Mark Jones and Andre Jones and whatever else is happening in Cincinnati.
And that guy.
Occasionally you get that guy.
He
wants to stick around.
I was rooting for my guy Omar Cooper, who caught that touchdown and made Gus Johnson do this. I was rooting for him to go to the Panthers.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
It didn't. It did not happen.
You got Monroe Fleming.
I got some boring ass offensive lineman.
I think it's his name Monroe Fleming. Is that right?
I believe his name is Monroe Freeling.
Sorry, Monroe Freeling.
Monroe Freeling.
I'll be honest, Monroe. I'll probably never talk about you again.
I think this is it. Probably. I will never. I don't even think I'll ever hear the word Monroe Freeling ever.
Well,
again.
I mean, there's a chance he could be an all-pro lineman or something. Maybe. You never know.
There's a chance.
There's always a chance.
I mean, I don't know how many times I even talk about all-pro linemen.
They have to be really good.
How many times do you talk about all-pro linemen?
They just have to be really good. Now, if it's my own team, I talk about the offensive line all the time because they're terrible.
Sure. I don't.
Or they're really good. So it's like one of the, things in between. It's rare when I'm, it's such a big part of your football team. But you don't talk about the Panthers.
I don't even talk about my football team. Right.
So there's that.
Because they're really not even my football team.
But they're sort of your football.
They're kind of my football team. Every year, right around this time, people ask me, do you have an NFL team? And when we get close to the season and in the season, do you have an NFL team? And I will, until my answer is yes, I do. I have an NFL team and it's the Panthers.
What has to happen for that to be a yes?
I don't know. It has to be a feel situation. Okay. Because right now I'm still saying, not really. I guess I'm a Panthers fan.
Yeah,
I don't know that will ever change.
Yeah, I mean, nobody can do it but you.
It's not about winning and losing. It's just about how I feel. Like I would really have to commit to it.
It's very tough to just, as an adult, pick a professional sports team because there's no emotional connection to it.
Exactly.
It's like usually it's something that has to happen by the time you're 10 because there has to be this irrational emotional love or attachment to that team that then you just decide to stick with for whatever the reason for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I really like Steve Smith.
Yeah,
I have an emotional attachment to Steve Smith.
And you have to figure out if there's a way you can be emotionally attached to Tet. You think you can be emotionally attached to Tet?
No.
Probably not.
If they would have drafted Omar Cooper, I would have been excited about it. If I would have maybe been emotionally attached to him.
They basically need to draft a player that gets you to care slightly more than you do now.
Okay. Yeah. They did not do that last night.
I've often wondered.
Monroe Freeling was not that guy.
I've often wondered if Nebraska basketball has an NBA player that is actually like legitimately great.
You'd start to get into
Would
the
I
NBA.
really care about that player's career and his team?
I would.
I have never been in this situation, so I don't know.
I think so. Now it's tough to tell. Like the Kalkbrenner, like he had such a great college career and everyone loved him so much here. And I think he'll be a fine NBA player. Like he'll probably have a long career. It definitely does, but it impacted my understanding or at least day-to-day knowledge of the NBA like mildly this year. Because I did want to see how he was doing. And I would check up on him from time to time.
And that's
Same
kind of
thing
like,
with Baylor, I guess.
And I just don't know, one, the likelihood that Nebraska has a player that's like a, and I'm talking like a legitimate.
Yeah, you got to be
NBA
like real
starter.
good. Yeah.
Seems very unlikely.
It does. It seems very unlikely.
And it's not just like because it's Nebraska basketball, but like those players are rare. You're more likely to get somebody who has big upside traits and then it doesn't really go anywhere. And then you also have to establish the emotional connection to that player at Nebraska to then care about them that much when they move on.
Correct.
Like I liked Isaiah Roby. I was never going to follow him blindly because of a second round pick somewhere.
He doesn't know how good he could be.
Oh, and maybe he still doesn't.
If he only knew how good he could. I think he's kicking around in the G League somewhere.
Yeah, I was happy for Bryce McGowan's that he was drafted and he's still bouncing around the league, but I think he's with the Blazers.
He's out there somewhere.
But I don't know that he's even on the active roster.
Delano Banton's out there somewhere.
Yeah, I barely got to know Delano.
Definitely no emotional connection to Delano Banton.
None.
No. That was during a bad time.
I could rip off probably a dozen players that never were going to sniff the G League that I had a connection to.
Yeah. Like what if Sam Hoiberg ended up being like a great NBA player? Then
I mean that would be
the great answer.
Like for me, like Lance Jeter, like not even on the the great teams. It's someone where you're just like, oh yeah, I love watching that guy play at Nebraska. Probably not going to follow his career in China. But if he happened to be on an NBA team, I would have really liked that.
And please come back for the reunions.
Yes.
We would love to see you. All right. So that was the fast draft last night. We'll see what happens tonight and into the weekend. No sighting of Mike Vrabel last night.
He was in their war room. You didn't see him?
I didn't see him.
Okay. Well, maybe
maybe I missed the Patriots pick.
Yeah, he was like 2 off from the middle of the room. Like,
did he speak?
No. Well, I mean,
he spoke pre-draft and did another apology.
He smiled and clapped when they made a pick. There was clapping.
No, he's not allowed to do that.
I forgot who they took an offensive lineman.
The Patriots drafted
the Caleb Lomu or whatever.
They drafted Caleb Lomu. They must not have showed it on my draft.
Yeah, well,
my ESPN draft. Because I was watching at that time. I didn't see Vrabel.
That's the other thing. You should be able to customize your draft experience. Like, I should be able to watch the Vikings war room while nothing's going on. Just to see if they're actually doing anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
I don't actually want to see the player inside their house.
You remember the old days where like Ed Warder would be standing outside I love that.
I know.
They would cut around the league and it's like, oh, is Andrea Kramer going to be with the Vikings?
They would have like an octo box
yeah.
of every reporter just standing in front of a stadium somewhere where no one was.
I know.
Great times.
I kind of loved every aspect of it.
I did too. All right. Our city of the day as we stay draft pilled and we head to Pittsburgh. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. After this on 1620 The Zone. Shout out to Joey because not only is that already a bad song, it somehow got worse with the Stibbs and Joey duet of "We Learned This City" instead. Nice job.
I was worried that he actually liked that song, like when this first came up, and then he made this.
I'm not gonna lie, I've rocked out to it a couple times.
I mean, it's fine.
There's certain moments in life when it hits.
I don't know that it's ever hit for me.
I think there's certain moments in life where it hits. I don't know what those
I was
moments
gonna
are.
say, can you power rank with tears those moments?
I don't know what those moments are.
Is that our Tuesday power rankings with tears?
We head to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, located where the Allegheny and the Monongahela rivers meet to form the Ohio River. It is the city of yellow bridges and beautiful ballparks. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City, and the city where I ate sandwiches. Look at that sandwich. If you're watching along with this on YouTube, it's got French fries on top of it. I saw a clip from the Sad Sack draft last night, and they fed Kirk Herbstreit Primanti Brothers sandwich, and he declined. He was like, I'm not eating that. I think he was a hater.
Kirk Herbstreit, just I can't do it. I don't care for him. I don't care for him in almost any capacity.
That's fine.
Can't do it.
I don't care about him as a
I think
lead.
he's gone too far.
As a lead analyst on college football, I don't care. I don't need to see him talking after the college football playoff is announced. I certainly never need to see him in an NFL broadcast again.
That much is definitely
I don't
true.
need to hear any more from Kirk Herbstreit. I'm done. I'm over it.
446 bridges, the city of bridges. Of course, the famous few going over the Allegheny River. And yes, that little plunge through the tunnel as you're coming from the west side of downtown Pittsburgh to get to the other side is tremendous because the tunnel just opens up. And then it opens like you were basically straight in the middle of downtown right away with an incredible view. You could see the park, the stadiums off to your right. It's tremendous. And then it's the Duquesne Incline, I believe. You can go up there on top.
Oh.
There's like a mountain kind of up there. I went up there and just took a bunch of pictures of myself when I was in Pittsburgh.
I learned you took a lot of photos.
I took a lot of photos. I wanted to document it. Probably the only time in my life I'll ever be in Pittsburgh.
You think you'll go back for a baseball game?
I would love to.
They load up the family and like, we're going to Pittsburgh to watch the Royals.
See, that one's a tough sell. Like,
Is
we're
it?
going to Pittsburgh. I was like, we're going to Pittsburgh. What do you mean?
It should be a great time.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great time for me.
What, you don't think your family wants to eat sandwiches and drive across bridges?
I think my family would support me in many endeavors, but it would be a tough sell. It'd be a tough sell. The Yinzers.
I'm now imagining Mike Vrabel using that in his next statement. My family supports me across many endeavors.
My family
They've
would
supported
support
me all my life.
Support me in many, many things.
They continue to support me in this time.
Pittsburgh was named in 1758 by Scottish General John Forbes in honor of statesman William Pitt, the first Earl of Chatham. As Forbes was a Scotsman, he probably pronounced the name Pittsburgh.
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 How do you feel about Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh is a little bit different.
Paul Skeen's pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
No, I don't think so. It was incorporated as a borough on April 22nd, 1794, with the following statement. Be it enacted by the Pennsylvania State Senate and Pennsylvania House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania by the authority of the same, that the said town of Pittsburgh shall be erected into a borough, which shall be called the Borough of Pittsburgh forever. It was initially recognized as Pittsburgh, no H. Then they added the H just later on because they and then they actually took it away after a public campaign. The federal decision to drop the H was reversed, and then the Pittsburgh Press continued spelling the city without an H until 1921, And then eventually everybody got on board and said, actually, let's keep the
What
H.
in the world?
Yeah, the H is a very it's a very divisive issue.
Well, there's obviously the Pittsburgh, Kansas, which
I don't think that matters to them.
well, no, I know, but that's like they spell it without the H. So I didn't know that there was this whole controversy with or without the H. I've learned something here today.
Well, good. What is ChatGPT saying?
Well, first of all, we should mention that Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, Fred Rogers,
Yep.
all of that originated in Pittsburgh on public access programming. And so
Indeed.
they're very famous for that as well. Here is what ChatGPT feels like you should know in 30 seconds about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, population around 300,000, was once the steel capital of the world, helping build America's skyscrapers and bridges. Located at the meeting point of three rivers, now known for its 400-plus bridges and diehard sports culture. After the steel industry collapsed in the 1980s, Pittsburgh reinvented itself as a hub for healthcare, tech, and education, led by schools like Carnegie Mellon. It's a blue-collar city that found a second act and didn't lose its edge.
Wow, that was a great promo.
Heck
Yeah, well, that's what ChatGPT.
All right, another component to this city of the day that we're going to start doing from now going forward is, could Matt McMaster live here?
Okay. Yes.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it.
I think he could be an absolute sports talk star in Pittsburgh.
Me too.
I think he would develop the way they talk too. Like he would end up with their little accent and
absolutely. He would get way into it.
He would be embraced so fast there.
100%.
So I believe it.
He would get way into it. I think this is the perfect town for him. It fits him culture wise. Yeah. It's basically just drinking and meat.
I can imagine him wearing black and yellow coveralls for some sort of promotional
100%.
thing. Wearing like a hard hat.
If he moved there, he would turn into a Steelers fan tomorrow.
He would like carry a steel beam, like a fake one for a photo. Like I can just imagine this whole promotional thing for him.
Oh yeah.
And Pittsburgh seems like a Matt McMaster town.
Absolutely. He'd be a Pirates fan. He'd just do the whole thing. It'd be great.
So what? Okay, let's go back to the sandwich.
We only have 15 seconds.
I'll talk to you about it.
I would like to talk about the sandwich as well, so we can maybe spill that over to the 7:00 hour. But let's take a break. That's our city of the day. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, Michael Seir is going to join us at 8:30 this morning to talk about the draft and his time hanging out with his buds in Philadelphia, as he always does. Jake Sorensen will join us in the 9 o'clock hour. Get in your Friday shout-outs coming up at about 8:45 or 8:50. Friday shout-outs. We got a couple on the text line as we speak, so get those in. We'd also like to remind you that the Bananas and Bangers sweepstakes is going on right now. If you just tell us what your walk-up song is at 1620thezone.com, you could win a 4-pack of sweet tickets to see the Savannah Bananas play at Memorial Stadium on June 13th, $200, and a free duct cleaning, which is a $900 value from McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air. Enter online once again at 1620thezone.com. It's powered by McCarthy's 1 hour heating and air. Mike has some questions about sandwiches, and I am ready to answer them.
Well, so obviously, I mean, you go to this place, you're getting sandwiches.
That's right.
You went multiple times across the 4 days that you were there.
I went to the one that was near downtown, which I believe was the original.
Okay.
First. And then I was staying a little further out west in a different area, like it's probably about 15 or 20 minutes away.
Mhm.
And I found one out there because I had to stop at a Best Buy to get myself an Ethernet cord adapter for my computer because internet doesn't work at the NCAA tournament, especially when you sit courtside. And so
Even worse when you're in Houston and they put you in the sky.
Right. So I went to buy an internet adapter, and that's where I got it, from a Best Buy outside of the Pittsburgh area. And then there was a Permanente Brothers right next to it, and I sat in there and I just scarfed it down for a little while by myself.
So, like, what you're going to this place, you've heard about this place, you're familiar that it's a sandwich, well known for its sandwiches. What sandwich did you have the same sandwich twice?
I don't remember.
No.
What do you mean? Oh no.
You don't remember which sandwich you had?
Well, like I had the sandwich. I don't know. What was I supposed to do? Was there?
Assume that you thought out what your order was going to be and everything.
I like they do sandwiches.
Right. So
that's what I got.
Yeah, but what was your sandwich? Like, what was it? What was on it?
It was like a bunch of everything. It was just piled on there.
Well, they have 40 sandwich options here.
Yeah, I got the regular one.
So did you go with the almost famous sandwiches, which it comes with the fries and the coleslaw and the tomatoes?
Yeah, everything.
Provolone.
Yeah, you want to see the pic? Should I put the picture back up again on the YouTube?
Yeah, but I couldn't tell what the meat was. That's what I was trying to
okay,
do.
I could get you a better angle on that, but I have a second
One
picture.
of your 70 photos.
I have a second.
I've got the side view.
Yeah, I and obviously there was multiple opportunities.
And I didn't know if you went with the Pittsburgher.
Is this tell the story a little bit better? You're not. You can't see it on the YouTube. There it is on the screen.
I mean, I can see the tomato and the slaw and the fries.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of junk on there.
There's a lot of junk.
There's so much meat.
You probably went with the pastrami.
I probably went with the pastrami. I probably went up to the guy at the counter and said, mess me up, man. Like whatever you want.
Give me one of everything.
That's what I did at Katz.
Okay.
When I went there, I was like, what do you think? And he was like, have you been here before? And I was like, no. He was like, you should definitely get the pastrami. And I was like, okay. Awesome. And then he was like, do you want to?
You and the guy at the counter just saying you got to get the pastrami? We went to one sandwich shop here in Omaha.
Yeah.
And they overheard us discussing what we were thinking about doing. And he's like, you got to do the pastrami. We're going to sell out. And so we did the pastrami.
Absolutely. I mean, that's all the convincing I need.
Well, yeah, I know. If the guy
I'm not
going to
go up to the counter and be like, give me a turkey sandwich. I'm at this. I can make a turkey sandwich with Wonder Bread in my house.
I want the Mike Sauter. Just turkey on bread.
Yeah. He eats it apparently every day.
I used to. He claims that he hadn't done it for a while when he was sitting over here about a month ago.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd. It was tremendous. I don't know what it is that every guy at the deli counter is trying to convince you to get the pastrami. Yeah, but I'm really okay with it. I'm very fine with it.
I don't really need a lot of convincing to get the pastrami.
Exactly.
I mean, if the guy at the deli counter is like, get the sandwich X, 99% of the time I'm getting sandwich X.
What else is on that menu? I must have got some others because there was one time where it was more of like a fast casual, like you kind of order at a like the first one at Permanente was like it is a very, very small place, and you have to go like get your order, right?
Did you consider getting any of the Italian specialties?
I don't remember. I don't know what I considered or what I didn't.
There was also oven baked hoagies. Did you have a baked sandwich?
No.
So you probably just stuck with the almost famous sandwiches, which are served on fresh Italian bread.
Absolutely.
With fresh cut fries, coleslaw, tomatoes, provolone, and onions by request. Did you request the onions?
I didn't request anything.
Okay.
No.
Of course you wouldn't have requested.
I didn't add no additions or subtractions.
There's the Pittsburgh, which I assume is just a hamburger, and then all of that. And then you could do double egg and cheese. You could do tuna fish, which just sounds horrifying to me. Salami and cheese, Italian sausage and cheese, ham and bacon and egg and cheese, capicola and cheese, turkey breast and cheese, roast beef and cheese, pastrami and cheese, corned beef and cheese.
Yeah, I think it was probably just pastrami.
Okay.
That's what I did.
You probably just did that twice.
It was, yeah, I probably did. And I must have got like a side of something when I was at, because the second one, the one a little outside of town in one of the townships, was more of like a Applebee's type of feel. Like you go in there and you sit down and they serve you and they give you a giant beer if you wanted to. And then I didn't say no to the giant beer, of course.
What is a potato boat?
Great question. They're big on the pierogies up there, obviously.
Yeah, that's Cleveland. Same thing. I mean, they're right near each other. It's very similar in that regard.
So that is the extended portion of our city of the day, where this was the first time that I have been to one of the cities of the day, which I was excited to share my experience, and I had apparently 70 pictures on my camera roll to sort through.
These
Most
French
of them,
fries look good.
They were great. Most of them were of like Creighton stuff or Jack Golke or DJ Burns, who end up being the story of that tournament. And then there were, of course, where it came up yesterday because Mr. C tweeted at us the Jason Green call. That was at that, and there you go. Pittsburgh comes in again. All right, we welcome you back. 7:00 hour. Well, once again, we'll have Michael Seir coming up a little bit later, and Jake Sorensen as well. So speaking of the draft, Jeep Wade had a guy drafted in the first round last night. So Jeep Wade was the offensive line coach, of course, at Georgia Tech last year. Keelan Rutledge was the guard from Georgia Tech for the last couple of seasons. He was coached by Jeep Wade. Keelan Rutledge started his career at Mid-Tennessee State. His coach got fired. He went into the portal, and Georgia Tech was the first school to reach out to him. He visited Clemson and didn't end up going to Clemson because he wanted to go to – like the story that was being put together on Keelan Rutledge was that he's a pretty loyal guy. Like, you know, there wasn't a lot. He wasn't in it for the wrong reasons or anything like that. And so he, Jeep Wade and Georgia Tech hit him up first, even though he did visit Clemson. He ended up going to Georgia Tech, and he wanted to play for Jeep, and then they developed him into a first round pick. So not a bad thing there to have on Jeep Wade's resume coming off of last night.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing to have. It also shows you one of the conversations at large coming out of yesterday's draft, beyond just Keelan Rutledge, and he's part of it, was how many guys that had transferred were drafted. Because one of the conversations a year or two ago was about how few players were being drafted that had transferred previously. And now as you see more and more guys in college football transferring, going to different schools, you're seeing it reflected in the draft. And so I think it's a good sign. I mean, obviously you want to know that coaches can evaluate and then eventually develop that talent. And coming from Middle Tennessee State to Georgia Tech, highly unlikely that Keelan Rutledge was viewed as a first-round talent.
100%. I think it's a huge thing. Yeah.
Right. And so I just think like that's a feather in Jeep Wade's cap. I mean, one of the things that Tim Verghese has just been hammering home all of 2026 so far is just like how much respect there seems to be for just Jeep Wade just in general across the coaching community, but also just like offensive linemen. And just the way that Georgia Tech played, the way that Georgia Tech coached, he seems to be really, really well liked by the offensive line community.
There's something about the offensive line community that, like they all, when they have one of their guys, or maybe it feels like such a tight knit community where it feels like all of those guys kind of know who else is inside of the community. Wade is very much inside of the community.
So Sam Pittman was always this example of
he was the best
Sam
one.
Pittman was the offensive line coach that literally everyone talked about all the time. Every offensive lineman, if you got offered by Sam Pittman, it was a massive deal. It was kind of like basically being tapped on the shoulder and told, hey, you've got a ton of potential to be a thing on the offensive lines in college football.
You get the gold stamp.
And so I don't know that Jeep Wade is at anywhere near that level, but he's certainly in a conversation, amongst the people who really care about offensive line play. That's a guy that's got a lot of respect and clout.
Well, and I think, the identification of the guys that he brought in to pair along with the two guys that he inherited along the offensive line, which once again, that's always been the thing that has excited me most about this, the 2026 Nebraska offensive line. What?
You're venturing towards hyping.
Oh my God, I forgot. Elijah Pritchett is going to be a first-round draft pick. So is Justin Evans. They're all going to be first-rounders. I think Nebraska's going to finally chase down Ohio State this summer. But anyway.
32 first-round picks.
Yeah, I think all of them probably. So the thing that excites me most about this upcoming group is the two that Jeep Wade inherited. And you get a guy drafted in the first round, like you said, Schaefer, who, coming out of Middle Tennessee State, certainly not a guy who's on many people's radar as far as a first round draft pick. And then over a couple of years at Georgia Tech, he develops himself into that kind of player. And that was the thought process throughout the year. It's not like this was a surprise to anybody that he went in the first round. Everybody kind of thought after this season that he was going to end up being a first round pick in this draft. And so that probably lends you a little bit more excitement and optimism about the guys who are not inherited, the guys that were chosen, the guys that were plucked.
Well, it makes me think of like the loudest Jeep Wade was in any sort of social media context was the day that they landed Paul Mabenga. And you talk to various people, and it's interesting because Brendan Black, I think, was rated higher.
And I love Brendan Black like more than the other guys because he has the production to his,
and he's just
like he has the starts and the experience.
You just don't worry about anything.
But is there a reason to believe here? And I think this is the point that you're getting to.
Right?
Is there a reason to believe here that they could take a guy with some talent, with some raw athleticism, with some ability, and turn them into like a semi-coherent player, or a good one even. Guys reaching potential is something that what they need to do.
Right. You have this coach with this reputation, and he, literally has an offensive lineman from Georgia Tech get drafted that was found in the portal, and he's this fired up about Paul Mabenga. It makes me wonder if that's a guy that it's, could that be a guy that we're talking about as a draft pick someday, or someone that comes in and just immediately is a big hit as a portal addition, which is part of the Matt Rule conversation we don't dive into maybe enough, is that when they've gone into the portal, they've added guys that have been nice players. They have not added guys that have been all conference players or massive impact players or things of that nature. And maybe here is a situation where Paul Mabenga could be one of those where there's a world where perhaps he could be an all Big Ten player. And that, that would largely be because Jeep Wade shows up here. He identifies, hey, I like what you've done with your offensive line. We got to do better. If you want to go to a different level, we got to go outside these walls. We got to get some offensive linemen to put around Elijah Pritchett and Justin Evans. And that's what we have to do to get better.
Definitely has a different look to it for people who are around in the spring, and people may have saw it at the spring game. Certainly a different look to the offensive line. So we'll see what Jeep Wade's able to do in a short period of time, but not a bad thing to have on the old resume there from last night with Keelan Rutledge. And then Chris Johnson, the guy drafted immediately after him, played in Rob Orich's defense. Now, Chris Johnson, I was trying to do the math back on this, I believe he was already there before Orich joined. So Orich inherited him but obviously was a big piece of their defense.
Got a couple years with him,
this
had a
past
chance
year,
to,
yeah.
really deploy him. I think
Because remember, Orich had been at San Diego State for 2 years prior to becoming the defensive coordinator.
now I can't remember, but I think Chris Johnson played some nickelback for
Look at this.
yes, exactly,
Yeah.
for San Diego State. And like that's a big position in the Rob Orich defense. And so, like, one of the things that Nebraska is trying to recruit, whether it's in the 2027 class or, eventually in the portal, is they want kind of a bigger, rangier guy playing in that nickelback role, which is normally I don't know why this is the first name I thought of. When's the last time you thought of Keontae Evans?
Oh, good one. You know what? Weirdly, fairly, like, I don't know, a couple times a year.
Okay. All right. That's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah.
Like when I think of successful nickelback in Nebraska's defense in the last, like that's one of the names that comes up to me. He made that transition. It's a tough position because you don't have a boundary. You've got to be able to play across the field. You have various types of receivers you have to be able to defend. And often teams sort of cheat where they want their nickelbacks to also kind of have the ability to play against a run a little bit too. So you have to have some physicality to you. And so it's a huge position. And it's one that I think Nebraska, maybe not on their current roster, but if you look at what they're doing with Addison Williams and recruiting and look at what they sort of chased a bit in the portal, they're trying to find some guys that can fill that role. And so I am kind of fascinated, and it, again, you mentioned this, he inherited a guy like Chris Johnson and helps put him in position to be a first-round pick in 2 years. And so there's got to be some guys on Nebraska's roster where it's like, all right, what can this defense do? Or what can someone else sort of looking at this with fresh eyes? Can he find a player defensively that none of us are talking about at this point in time?
And remember here, we're talking about dudes that were drafted out of Georgia Tech and San Diego State. All right. So for I know
not Ohio State.
Yeah. For as much as people want to, oh man, we can't be this because we can't compete in terms of draft picks because we can't compete in terms of NIL and blah, 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 blah. You could still develop draft picks. These two guys who were in part, at least, developed by now current Husker coaches, turned themselves into first-round draft picks, right? They were not supposed to be first-round draft picks, at least according to the recruiting rankings. And they turned themselves into one from a production standpoint. Mostly it's that's how you get on people's radar. And then, oh yeah, they have some athletic traits that are really, really portable and projectable to the next level as well. You could do that without being a 5-star recruit. You could do that without having, $100 billion in NIL and stuff like that. And that's how Nebraska still has to do it. Like, and so if you get coaches who have that mindset, and I think Nebraska does, and they all want to compete too, and they all want to get the best players that they possibly can. But Nebraska has to make the most out of what it has. That has to be their story.
Yeah.
And you got a couple coaches who have some nice little, like I said, bullet points to put on their resume and say, these guys were developed in part by what they did either in my defense, if you're Rob Orich, or under my tutelage as far as being in the offensive line community from Jeep Wade. By the way, Mike writes in, he says the offensive line community loves a good sandwich. They really do. They probably would have ordered a lot more than me at Permanente Brothers.
I undoubtedly, just based on watching the offensive line go into a Chipotle's.
Oh yeah.
They're
a lot.
You want to get in front of that line.
You are going to want to they're going to be out of food when you're done with when they're done with that. So, there you go. Those are a couple of Nebraska's new coaches and not a bad thing to have on there. Let's take a quick time out. We will come back. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let us know. 402-951-1620. I also want to remind you that the Green for Green 5K sweepstakes is going on right now, powered by Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. You can improve your golf game, get better equipment, get a membership, or even repair the damages due to your miscalculated golf swing. But you don't have that. The contest runs through May 19th. It's Green for Green 5K sweepstakes. Enter online right now, 1620thezone.com. So he talked about the different broadcasts of the draft last night. The internet was being idiots, and they thought there was a conspiracy theory going on where they showed one reaction to Fernando Mendoza getting drafted on one network and another on a different network, as if it was like pre-recorded. But it turned out they had two instances of it, because once when he got the phone call and another one when he actually got drafted. The one when he actually got drafted, I thought was really funny. And he gets up and he starts hugging his family and he starts going around, and I think it was his grandfather who was 2 seats away from him on the sectional couch in the living room. He tried to do the bro hug to his grandpa. Have you ever tried to bro hug grandpa before?
No.
It doesn't really work. They don't know what to do. When you stick out your arm like this, everybody our age knows what that means, right? You go on for the little slap and then you go around for the hug. Grandpa doesn't know what that means. So Grandpa is very confused. He just wanted a regular hug from Fernando.
Oh, come on, Fernando.
He eventually got it, but I think Fernando got really, really locked into bro hug, dap mode, and forgot to turn it off for Grandpa.
Bro hug dap mode.
Bro hug dap mode.
I could tell like the grandpa's hand did not know what to do in the situation.
It's very
like,
funny.
oh.
I very
no.
much enjoyed it. And then when he got the call, he's so awkward. He's hilarious. When he got the call from the Raiders personnel, whoever called him, when he hung up the phone, he almost said, "I love you." Like it was just instinct to say, "I love you." Bye. Love you. Bye. He was like, "Oh," and then he started getting up and hugging everyone.
I mean, maybe he
It's
does
great.
love him though. He is now the number 1 pick for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been like that weird.
It'd have been weird.
But he stopped himself
Yeah.
because he realized he was starting to say "love you" to someone who he really didn't mean to say it
Yeah.
to. I've done that before. I told the person at the McDonald's drive-thru that I loved them once. It was an accident. They gave me my food. I was happy that I got my chicken nuggets and fries.
Did they say it back?
No, they were weirded out and I drove away.
Okay. Did you allow for time for them to say it back?
No, I immediately rolled up my window and got out.
You
of
were
there.
also weird.
Yeah, I was like, what just happened?
That's fair.
I'm out of here. Yesterday, so shout out to Fernando. Friday, shout out to Fernando Mendoza for being a total weirdo. I can't wait to see how this goes.
With Kirk Cousins in the same quarterback room.
Yep. A more normal weirdo.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't think Kirk Cousins is like that weird. It's just weird by the fact that he's not your alpha quarterback type.
He doesn't care what people think about him because is
true.
He's been in the league for so long, and it's kind of just always like he's not trying to impress anybody.
Yeah.
So the whole Coles thing is very real with him.
I would assume the Great Clips thing is very real too.
Mendoza is, he's trying to do both. He's trying to look cool for his people, and he's awkward anyway. And there's that entire thing. I can't. I hope that Kirk Cousins gives him some of the sage advice. Just stop caring about what people think about you. He could probably use that. Yesterday, the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. We hear from Charlie a lot these days. He's got a lot of takes on
More than
things.
we really need to, if we're honest.
Read you a couple things from the NCAA. The Division I cabinet, the decision-making body tasked with day-to-day governance, discussed the idea of the 5 for 5 last week and could vote on emergency legislation as soon as mid-May. It would go into effect the following month. Numerous committees have already weighed in on the broad concept, and a subcommittee is expected to put forth the formal proposal that Division I schools can comment on in the next few weeks. Basically, the NCAA has a long and arduous process to be able to change a rule, especially as significant as this one, and they are fast-tracking it. Further refinement of policies related to pre- and post-college enrollment are also being examined in the wake of a spate of cases involving former professional players attempting to play in college. Baker, the president of the NCAA, says this: I have had a lot of people offer me thoughts about implementation, but I haven't had anybody say that this is a bad idea, which is what we said last week. Like, okay, how do you do it? Yes, but nobody seems to be disagreeing that this is the right way to go.
Pretty universally accepted.
Almost everybody I've talked to has said it's simpler and it's easier to understand it if it returns college athletics to the same window that college is supposed to be attached to. It makes it harder for someone to show up at the age of 19 or 20 or 21 and claim to be a freshman after playing 3 years of professional sports somewhere else. There's a lot of things people like about this. Baker does not appear to be stopping at eligibility, and said changes are needed with regards to schools tampering and things of that nature as well. But Tony Petitti, of course, had a comment on that a couple weeks ago about how they should just forget about tampering, and and things like that, which is always rich coming from a person in his position. But let's stick on the 5 for 5 thing for now. It feels like this is happening.
Yeah, it definitely is happening. And it will happen.
And it feels like it's happening fast. And if you hear from coaches around the country in whatever sport, that would be a very, very good thing. All they want is to know the rules. That's really all they've ever wanted. And obviously there are some bad actors out there who take advantage of the rules or the lack of rules and things like that, and certainly have. Mostly over the last 5 or so years, since the lack of legislation has really come to the forefront as far as the NCAA is concerned. But this is getting fast tracked, and it feels like it's going to happen next month. The question still remains of how do you do it? And the question also remains, I mean, if we're thinking about the actual functional reality of this right now, it's this. What happens to the basketball players as you're trying to build a roster right now? And what happens to the football players as you're trying to build a roster right at this very moment? And there's some fascinating decisions to be made by coaches who have a lot on their plates at the moment.
Yeah, I thought I saw a tweet yesterday that was about the Association of College Basketball Coaches or whatever, where they sort of said like, hey, we like the 5 for 5. We just, think there should be a lot of care about when this is basically saying like,
how you
hey,
implement it.
Don't do this thing where you're going to more or less allow guys that have exhausted eligibility to now have another year.
Yeah.
Because no one would be prepared for how that would go.
Okay. So if you think about it, like, while we like to dream as fans about your favorite 5th-year guard coming back to school and playing for your team next year, whether it be Jamarcus Lawrence or Josh Dix or whatever it might be, that sounds awesome. At the same time, you have built a roster over the last couple weeks here with the knowledge that they will not be there because you can't. They don't have another year of eligibility at this point. Now you can save roster spots. You have also built a roster inside the constraints and the money that you have to deal with and paid out your money to, or you're assigning or earmarking your money to your team that you currently have. And if you're to get a productive 4-year going into 5th-year player back, what does that do for budgets and things like that? So it's not quite as easy as like, oh yeah, come on, welcome back, like, whatever. And a lot of these guys are entering the transfer portal, and somebody might get really, really lucky at the end of the day and get a 4-year player who's really productive or something like that. But there is a lot of concerns in the implementation process of this right now.
Yeah, I like all cards on the table. Would absolutely love to have another year of Jamarcus Lawrence playing alongside Frager, playing alongside Price Sanford. I would pass on that for the sheer just don't want to hear about, the headache that would be everything else that comes along with this. You've seen a lot of players now enter the portal with no available, they have no actual eligibility left,
right?
But they're in the portal,
right.
And the off chance that this happens, there's also no guarantee that Jamarcus Lawrence ends up back with Nebraska anyways,
right?
Because one, like anybody else, he's going to want to be paid for his services. Two, Nebraska's operating as if he's not coming back. So
that's what I'm saying.
They're likely not going to have that money.
That's what I'm saying.
So this probably doesn't play how, you're dreaming it in your head. So it's easier to implement something with the knowledge that it's going to happen for the upcoming year than to try to shoehorn it into what you have. And then the other thing is, if you're Nebraska and you're operating with this, suddenly Trevin Lenhart is another year of eligibility, potentially could play 5 years. Sam Orm would have 3 more years. The guy they picked up yesterday from San Diego State would have 3 more years. Like it changes the calculus of what you're doing in terms of total team building and roster building. And so,
see, I've heard people bring that up, and like I get it, but I just think in college basketball in particular,
year by year,
it's year by year and maybe 2-year cycles.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to maybe project what next year's team is going to look like as well in the back of your head. And so to think about a guy who gets another year of eligibility, which would be his 3 years from now or 4 years from now, there's just as good of a chance that they've transferred 3 more times.
100%.
So like I get that part of it, and it definitely does change the calculus. But I really think the right now piece is bigger. And the implementation and how this gets done and what it means for these rosters this year.
Sure.
Like I think that's the biggest part.
Yeah, and that's why I think you have to kick it forward, that you're not retroactively being like, all right, all these guys that you thought were gone are now available. So I think it makes more sense and then it gives people time to prepare for it. It gives people time to then shift or shape their roster how they want. And like I said, if you're a Trevin Lenhart, you would know going into this year, you'd have another year after it if you want it.
It seems like right now, and like I said before, I saw a lot of stuff from coaches yesterday who were just like, we need answers one way or the other. Like we need answers right now. And I think if you're a coach right now, I would probably approach it as if you're going to have the opportunity to bring guys back or get another year with guys and stuff like that. There's just no like. I have sympathy for these NCAA people because they get in this situation because they get yelled at. It's like, we need answers right now. It's like, yeah, but this is also like a life-altering thing for us. And so we have to make sure we get the implementation right. And we have to make sure we get the actual
no matter what you
right
do, someone's mad
in the first place. And it's going to take a little bit of time.
Right.
We have to put this through the proper channels and make sure everybody gets feedback on it and we make the right decision before we actually do it. I get it. They want answers now because right now is a really important time. There are still prevalent players in the basketball transfer portal that have the ability to go get picked up. And if you get this 5th year thing, there's going to be even more available players that you could go in and grab.
Well, and there's guys that are in the NBA draft process that would probably rather come back to play college than not get drafted at all.
I think so.
And so you kind of, to be fair to those guys, you sort of need to make this decision. If it's going to be, hey, you know what? We're running it back. You get an extra year if you haven't used your red shirt. I would say probably 80% of college basketball players don't use red shirts.
No.
I don't think it's a particularly, Nebraska's unique where we've seen a lot more guys redshirting at the University of Nebraska than I can remember.
They just end up transferring anyway.
Right. And so it's, they're just there to practice. And then if they stick around, great. If they don't, oh, well.
Yep.
That's kind of like, I don't think anyone's that upset that Quentin Rhymes left, this past off.
Or Nick Janowski.
Right. And he had a great run
That's okay.
St. Thomas. Like, that's going to happen. You want him to go.
I don't think anybody should be that freaked out that really anybody leaves, honestly, because you just have the ability to immediately pick it up right afterwards. But I get it. There's some.
Yeah, I think there's probably a few notable exceptions in there. But for the most part, you should probably anticipate that, there's a greater likelihood someone's leaving than staying, which is not a super fun way to think about college basketball.
And so the other thing that had been talked about, and this is another reason why you have to get it right, and I get people want answers right now, like another thing that was floated around there that was talked about with this 5-for-5 thing is you get 1 free transfer. And then the second one, the second one you have to pay, which means you have to pay with a year of your eligibility. I don't know if that's going to be part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do that. The courts obviously get involved in that situation. I don't know. I feel like that would be a tremendous thing and a tremendous change as far as the way we're operating, the way we're doing business right now, especially in college football and college basketball. But, who knows what it looks like.
I think that was put forth by the presidential council when they co-opted this 5-for-5 idea, but they want it where the transfer portal gets reined in. I think when this originally stemmed from the coaches, that wasn't in there about and I think it'd be really hard to legislate.
No, it's just another thing that was kind of floated out there.
Right. No, I mean, I like that idea in all honesty. I just think it's going to be really hard because the goal of this is just to eliminate any of the courts conversation.
100%.
And I don't think
No
restricting
red shirts, no waivers, no exceptions.
Yes. And I think including that provision about the transfer would then open the door up for more of that. And I think you'd want to avoid it if at all possible.
I agree. By the way, did I fall out of our stream here, Jake? What?
Yeah, for some reason.
I think we have internet issues.
Yeah, I think we
here
are
at
having
the
some
old
issues.
1620 the zone. Today.
I had issues, but now I'm great.
All right. Well, we'll
Just Jake and I holding down the fort. Now I'm in the middle.
if we become frozen on YouTube or at 1620thezone.com,
We're back.
You'll know why. Here we are.
You can always listen on the radio.
The
Yeah.
radio still exists, and the app is tremendous. The app is back, folks. The app works again. Have you heard about this?
I didn't know that it really went away, to be honest.
I mean, the app was never away, but it definitely works better now.
I had many people tell me about the difference of listening over the air versus the app and how much clearer and cleaner the app sounds.
Oh,
So it's just
Nice.
a possibility. If you,
I was listening
covet that.
I was listening in the car, in my dad's car the other day, and he had taken the antenna off his car because we were moving a bed, and it sounded so funny when there was no antenna on there. But then I get 1620 the zone really, really far away, and I hear from people every day who are like, "Well, you can't get 1620 the zone at 144th and Dodge." I'm like, I can get it to Lincoln. So I don't know. Maybe it depends on your cars.
I think it depends on your car.
Get a
It
better
depends
car.
on the weather, the
Depends on
cloud
weather.
coverage.
I
and
heard
all
there
of
were
that.
some people yesterday who were a bit alarmed when the lightning was around, and they were, Josh and John were just crackling throughout the afternoon, So, however you listen, remember, it's still AM radio. We'll come back with the headlines after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, time for the headlines. Let's see what we got when we open up the Jake Janasek newspaper today.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
So my first one is a moose naps outside a Montana radio station called the Moose.
On the nose. I like it.
Very on the nose.
I like
And
to see-
a radio station.
I would be interested in clicking on this.
Yeah.
But let's hear the second
And
one.
this one, I just kind of thought it was funny. Really big pig seen wandering around loose in North Carolina.
Okay, so probably that's the one because you got to know how big the pig
I
is.
want to know how big the pig is.
All right, let's click. We're going to, let's see, Durham County. Okay. So the Triangle area. Authorities in North Carolina are asking local residents to keep an eye out for a, quote, really big pig seen wandering loose in Durham County. The Durham County Sheriff's Office said on social media that the new heavyweight champion was spotted in the Mason Road area, but several animal services personnel were unable to locate the Hambassador. To put it lightly, he was a really big pig. We're talking about absolute unit status, the Post said. He's currently living his best life on the lam, but we'd like to get him somewhere safe before he decides to move into someone's backyard permanent. The sheriff's office said residents should report any sightings of the pig and not attempt to capture the pig themselves. The pig's owner has not yet been identified. The Post asked residents to help come up with a nickname for the county's new porcine pal. Since he's clearly a local celebrity now, he needs a name fitting of his stature. Tiny feels a bit too ironic. Sir Oinks-a-Lot is a classic, but we know you can do better, officials wrote. Wow, that was a lot stupider than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Where there's a little bit too much with the puns and the animals.
It's just a pig.
It doesn't even look that
It just
big.
sounds like an excuse to write on social media about, do pig puns on social media.
pretty much.
I'm clicking on the other one now.
The
Yeah,
moose
the
story.
I'm going to the moose story. There is a moose in Montana. That's not breaking news. But what about it? It made its way to civilization. From, let's see, UPI. A Montana moose went for a self-guided tour of Bozeman and even took a nap in front of a radio station called The Moose. Olivia Ballinger, a student in Montana State, glanced outside her apartment on Monday and saw a moose running across the neighborhood vacant lot. She sent a video of the creature to her father, Travis, who posted it to his House of Montana Realty business page on Facebook. I have the land listing for the property where the moose crossed, Travis told the Bozeman Daily Chronicle. My daughter woke up and there's this great big moose. It just ran by my sign. He said he hopes the visit raises interest in the property. God, what is going on? It's a great lot, he said. I think the moose thought so too. The moose was spotted all around Bozeman on Monday and even settled down for a nap next to the moose, 94.7. In Bozeman, Montana Fish Wildlife Information Officer Morgan Jacobson said the moose, which appeared to be an adult, was reported to officials, but they decided to not take any action. Yesterday was the first time we had received reports that this moose was in the area. We did not get reports that it was causing conflicts or obstructing traffic. Jacobson said moose visits in Bozeman are unusual, but not unheard of. We have sightings of various wildlife species in the city limits of Bozeman quite frequently. That makes sense. While a moose sighting is not an everyday thing, oftentimes they're passing through and just happen to wander into town. And here's the Facebook post from House of Montana Realty, which this guy was just using to try and sell land. I guess the moose liked it. So if you like it as well, you can hit up Travis Ballinger, MLS number 406947. That's stupid.
Get yourself a lot.
This morning in Bozeman, look who visited some land we have for sale off 19 Ave. If you were interested in the 2.5 acres, I'd be happy to show it to you.
There's only 7 likes on it, so
You-
it didn't exactly blow up.
Using a moose to try and sell your property,
Got to be resourceful.
I guess so. I guess
What do you think the
moose are a few of the only resources in Montana.
What do you think 94.7 the Moose? What do you think their music is?
Great question. I'd like to look this up.
I did look it up.
Oh, Classic country.
No, it's Bozeman's Best Rock.
Oh,
Okay.
So their most, I can look up their most recently played songs.
Yeah.
We got My Morning Jacket with I'm Amazed. In Excess with Devil Inside. Wallflowers. So that's more rock than I didn't expect this.
Yeah,
one.
they go hard. Okay.
Bruce Hornsby with Indigo Park.
Nice.
Tom Petty,
That's
Don't
light.
Do Me Like
Okay,
That.
so now we're going lighter. We're getting lighter.
What do you mean?
Bruce Hornsby and
Oh, I misunderstood what you were saying. Dave Matthews Band, Where Are You Going? Cars, Let's Go. John Mayer.
it's like sort of like contemporary, so
It's
almost.
kind of all over. The My Morning
Yeah.
Jacket threw me early, I
Okay.
think.
All right, shout out to the Moose, who's now they have at least seen a
Casey
Moose.
Musgraves. Yeah, we're all over the place.
Okay, yeah, this is basically their
Counting
Sweet
Crows
98.5.
around here.
This is basically their Sweet 98.5.
641.
Music to listen to during the workday in Bozeman at 94.7. The Moose.
I'm glad they didn't take any action. Just let that moose hang out.
Yeah, just
He's
let
one to go to
the
his
Moose
radio
will go
station.
away. The Moose will go away. There's absolutely no issue with the Moose. All right, those are the headlines. We will take a quick break, come back halfway home, 8 o'clock hour up next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. Halfway home on a Friday here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Jake Janasek with you today. I suppose we are halfway home. You are all probably starting out your day this morning. So hello to our morning commuters. It looks like a lovely commute. The skies are blue. And
It looks like a really nice day outside.
except for it's not. It's cold.
Well, I mean, it can still be nice, just not warm.
I just wish what happened? I thought we were headed towards something great.
It's not summer yet.
No, it's not. It's not May 18th.
Yeah.
It's not the day that we have deemed that summer begins.
No Beach Boys yet.
Should we
We have a couple 80s days this week. I'm like, oh, finally, we're getting there, you know? And then I look all next week and we're just going to be, you know, kind of mild and chilly. This weekend, disaster.
For some reason, I want to convince you that we should just refer to May 18th in the same way that when we used to do the recruiting hour, the barbecue.
The barbecue.
Yeah, that just becomes the barbecue. Maybe we is there a grill? Does the station have a grill? Can we
Actually, weirdly, yes.
maybe we should just cook up some food after our show
Okay.
for the 8 people that are here in the building.
May 18th. May 18th.
It's a Monday.
So it's a Monday. All right, we'll have to think about it. We'll have to alert the people. May 18th is the day where it turns summer. So apparently we have to suffer for the next 3+ weeks.
Yeah. There is no spring, just late stage winter.
Straight to summer. Straight to summer. Did you see the further updates to the Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel story from yesterday?
I received texts related to tweets that she made in 2021 about her son Michael.
Okay, so yeah, there was that's more of like the internet doing its job.
There was
Just more pictures that came out.
what, like the grainy photo from 2018 or whatever at a bar where they apparently were kissing, is what the photo claims.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what other wonderful things have come out of this here.
So no, you missed the hilarious detail about the kissing. The kissing at the bar picture is funny because it was from 2018. It was because it was from a March 11th, 2020.
Oh, wow.
Which is like kind of the day the world ended.
Yeah, no, I totally missed that detail.
They were about to. COVID was happening all around them,
and they're spit swapping,
and they're kissing at Tribeca, in New York City, at the bar. They're like, I don't know if I'm ever going to see you again, and then they start making out at the bar.
Who's just sitting on that picture for 6 years?
I don't know. My theory is the husband has something to do with all of this.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
a vendetta.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like they had a PI following them at this resort in Arizona. That's not just like something a random person does.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't know.
They are assigned to for the job. Now, maybe this one was a little bit more of like, oh well, I saw that this was happening. I have some interesting evidence
Have
about
you ever
it.
met a PI?
It'd be hard to know.
Well, I mean, I assume that they like
Gene Parmesan.
you met Gene Parmesan.
Gene! You would know if you met Gene Parmesan.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the most coy about whatever it is that he's doing.
I don't think that I've ever met a
Well,
PI.
it's not that they wouldn't tell you that they're a PI. They wouldn't tell you if they were following you specifically.
That's true. John Jacobs says Happer's theory is total conjecture. 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I should make that very clear. It is total conjecture.
You said the word theory.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
you're operating with, I
No,
have all of this knowledge.
These are 100% not verified facts.
Yeah.
I'm just speculating.
Well, again, I felt like the word theory was doing the.
I don't know. People
I
need
guess
to
you
hear
could have said my hypothesis, but that would make it seem like you had a scientific basis for it.
Yeah.
I guess if you really wanted to, you could have phrased it. I have a wild ass guess.
I have a conjecture. That was my conjecture.
Tuesday conjecture.
Yeah. So that was the update to the story yesterday. I thought the detail about it being on March 11th 2020.
Just looks worse and dumber.
Truly
and
hilarious.
bad.
And then the internet, found out that she had a kid named Michael, and obviously we were dealing with a Michael with Mr. Vrabel here. And then
I've never heard anyone call him Michael.
There was a bunch of interview, just random interviews that sort of just have surfaced over the last several years that are sort of odd. There was a couple more things, but yeah, this situation is growing hilarious, more hilarious and hilarious.
I think I saw Goodell was asked about it and said that they have, it's a personal situation. The NFL has no, basically, I don't know, no standing, no interest in looking into it. They don't at the moment, like they don't as it pertains to these two, but they probably should, just based on, there's a media, reporter coach conversation. I mean, there's definite
sourcing conversation to be had here.
Well, there's definite national reporters that are like, well, she could have aided the Patriots or, the Titans in terms of tampering and various, like there's not things that couldn't have happened here. It's just, I think there's people who very much just want this story to go away. And that I think is the NFL and the Patriots. And, I assume Bill Simmons.
Oh yeah. Another great one. TMZ did one yesterday.
Which they're one of the entities that passed on doing this. They're like, now we're not interested.
They're getting involved now.
And now they're like, oh, there's traction. We're in.
They're like, oh, we got a couple things. And here's one of their things. They had a picture of the two of them, the subjects at hand, the definitely not guilty, Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel, at a casino hanging out in 2024. Once again, much like the first story, the where and when is the funnier part of this. They were at Tribeca. They were in Tribeca on March 11th, 2020, when the world ended, kissing each other at a bar. And they were, after Vrabel got fired in 2024, his gap year or whatever, they met up at Beau Rivage Casino in Biloxi, Mississippi. Now, I can't think of very many reasons to go to Biloxi, Mississippi, especially if you're a now fired NFL head coach and a premier NFL breaking news reporter. I can't really think of a whole lot of reasons to go to Biloxi. But they were at a casino. They were just hanging out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
totally normal to go to Biloxi.
If you left we left the station right now and drove the total distance that it would take to go from Nashville to Biloxi, we would be in Chicago, basically.
Long drive.
So it's not even like you just outside of Nashville, you drove 50 minutes across state lines.
Biloxi
to the casino.
is where you go when you're on the lam. Biloxi is where you go when you're hiding.
I don't know if that's
like Steve Sipple has a list of all the places that he wants to live, and they're just all places that he would go if he were under some sort of.
I don't know that Biloxi is as valuable to him as Shreveport. That's the one that he.
Same idea.
Yeah, no, it's
same
the
idea.
Concept is the same.
This is where you go when you want to hide. No one is.
Do you have one of those?
I've never really thought about it, but
I don't have
there
like
are definitely
you
some
want to
favorites.
hide. I definitely have a. You know what? I'm done with everything. This is where I'm going to go.
Do you want to tell people?
Not really. But I guess, I mean, if people need to know,
I would like to know.
Discovered this town when we went on a road trip a few years ago in Idaho called Riggins, Idaho.
Oh, yeah. You've told me about this before.
I love this place.
Yeah.
This is where I'm definitely going to go when it all just gets to be too much.
So you're going to go hide out?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's really hiding out. It's just like, I've given up on everything that I have here. I'm going there. I'm going to live in the trailer park. It'll be great.
That sounds awesome.
It genuinely does.
I need to really start thinking about, maybe that's a good question to ask some of our guests that we have on our show. Like, hey, where do you go if you're going to be on the lam? I think
we start with our next guest because I guarantee he's thought about it.
Michael would have a lot
or
of thoughts
he will tell us that he's already had to do it, or it'll be somewhere in New Mexico.
Of course, yesterday the order of events in this situation was that Vrabel was checking himself into counseling, and many people who had sort of experienced a situation before were like, yeah, this is kind of what you do when you feel like something else is coming. And there were just more pictures yesterday that came out. I can't wait for the next round of pictures that comes out today.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the story's dying anytime soon.
No, everybody's going to have pictures.
Which
it turns
only
out even
makes-
in Biloxi, they have phones.
Which only makes the actions and the commentary from Rossini even more bizarre.
I know.
Like,
Yeah, you were never going to
This
really
would
get away
die.
with denying this.
I genuinely think this would die if both parties were like, yeah, we engaged in an affair, we made a mistake, yada, 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 and they moved on. And instead, the doubling down and all of it. And then if you're the Athletic or the New York Times, it's like, well, we look really bad here.
Yeah, probably.
Real bad.
Our initial reaction should probably not have been to just immediately support.
And then the other NFL reporters are teeing off.
Interesting.
I don't think she was popular to begin with.
That's what I'm thinking.
And now it's just like, you know what? I've had thoughts and I've had them for a long time, and here they are.
Once again, more conjecture and speculation. But the way that the NFL reporters are reacting to this, and then the way people are not sort of talking about it, I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's not very many people coming to her side here, not only because the evidence is completely stacked against her in this situation, but I think mostly because they don't really like her very much. And maybe they had a sense that there was some nefariousness going on before this.
Yeah, I mean, if for whatever reason you find yourself getting updates from sports people out in the DC, Baltimore Beltway area, she worked out and covered Washington for a long time, and there's some heavy insinuations of things there too. So it's just and again, you don't know.
What's up with people in that area just being the worst? You know who sucks? Jason LaCanfora. That guy sucks.
He's one of the people. No, he's not doing it himself. He's literally amplifying anyone talking about Diana Rossini.
Yeah.
I would imagine for him there's like a professional jealousy rivalry there.
Probably.
Also, he hates the Royals, which is probably why.
That's why I hate him.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It all goes as far as an NFL insider, I think that guy's really good.
It all goes back to the 2014
No, I know.
ALCS.
I'm very aware. Very aware.
Screw you, Jason LaCanfora. But I support your hatred of Diana Rossini.
Yeah, I know. You're caught in the middle here.
I know, it's bad. It's bad. Transfer portal. Nebraska basketball got a guy yesterday.
They did.
We'll have a San Diego State guard off in Nebraska Creighton next
Isn't
year.
it kind of funny? It's 2 years in a row. You get a guy from Iowa. Like, I guess Creighton got two guys from Iowa. Nebraska got one this year at San Diego State. Every year we're going to have to go into it wondering what the team that the transfer portal, Nebraska and Creighton, will each take a player
if
from.
you follow the trend, next year it has to be one of Nebraska's quote unquote. I mean, not that Creighton and San Diego State have a rivalry, but they've played each other quite a lot now over the last several years. They've had some, I don't know, kind of famous games.
So Nebraska, Iowa, Creighton, San Diego State,
I think
Nebraska, somebody.
Yeah, who is it?
Maybe they'll get Vanderbilt in the tournament again.
So two Vanderbilt guys have to transfer next year, and one of them has to go to Creighton, and one of them has to go to Nebraska.
And Berke gets an extra year and ends up at Creighton.
That would be hard to believe.
And Tyler Tanner goes to Lincoln.
yeah. Of course you want that guy. What about that nickel guy? Is that guy get a fifth year, or is he gone? He's got to be gone.
I think he's gone.
I like that guy. He was really good. He was matching Price Sanford blow for blow. Taj DeGorval is the guy who we are referencing here, who's in the boat for Nebraska basketball. Last year, in his sophomore season at San Diego State, he did play his freshman season at San Diego State as well. And he's played in 62 games over the last 2 years. He started 5 games last year for the Aztecs. Not really a shooter of sorts, can get to the bucket, but he's a distributor. It's sort of an interesting guard tandem that Nebraska has kind of put together with length. You have a 6'5" guard here, and you have Lenhart, who I believe goes at 6'4", and both of these guys are going to be the guy operating with the basketball in their hands. Seems like the majority of the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if DeGorville is going to play a lot.
Oh, is this a Wesley Rosa bet?
I think he'll play more than Wesley Rosa.
I think so too.
Which unfortunately I have to say out loud, which might cut into how much, I believe in actually these thoughts I have on Wesley Rosa. But, you think about it, like he strikes me as someone who's sort of a bench option, a guy that might be a nice defensive player for you. You certainly don't see a lot from the stat line in terms of that makes you feel like it's a high efficiency shooter that they've been going out and getting. But the length you mentioned is valuable. I think he's a good enough athlete, and you might just be looking to add a guy who can sort of give you a different look in practice, and you can throw out there on the court for you at different times of your rotations. I just don't anticipate he's going to play a lot.
What is a lot? I mean, I guess you don't know the full scope of the roster yet, so it's sort of hard to tell.
So
but I would say I view this as a pretty versatile and interesting piece. I don't know how much he plays still.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like
players that I would expect to average more minutes than him. So we'll just go down that route. Does that work?
Okay. Well, but
no, okay.
You kind of have to do it from like a positional standpoint, right? Because I don't know, bigs aren't going to play.
Sure. Okay. So just if you're talking about guards or forwards alone, I
think he's probably a 15+ minute a game guy.
I think it's going to be less.
Okay.
I think Kale will take more of those minutes. I think that Lenhart, Kale, certainly Sanford, Frager are all very likely to play more than him. And I wonder if Essegian is going to have a bigger role than I thought. So,
Yikes.
So then Essegian
doesn't sound
potentially plays more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a guy that you view that you're getting minutes off the bench and you can live with the defense if he's able to knock down a couple threes a game.
Last year he played in Mr. DeGorville 47.5% of San Diego State's minutes. He was a pretty versatile. Compared him to BJ Davis, who is the guy that Creighton got. Which, by the way, I got a text 2 years ago. Creighton had Stephen Ashworth and Nebraska had Raleigh Lacey.
Raleigh Wooster?
Raleigh Lacey. That was an old Creighton pitcher.
I was going to say, I don't know who that is, but I know who you're talking about.
Raleigh Wooster.
Yeah, both Utah State guys, right?
How about that?
Now, Wooster was at Utah prior to going to Nebraska, so there's a little
they were
gap.
never teammates, right?
I don't think they were teammates,
Maybe.
but it sort of works. I'm willing to count it so we can keep this thing going forward.
It. Whoever's next is next.
Now, I don't know between Nebraska and Creighton who's played Utah State more. I can't think of a Nebraska-Utah State game that's in basketball. I can think of several football games I attended in my life.
Right.
But yeah, so that I'm willing to count that just so we can keep this going forward.
Agreed. So no, I think this guy's in the rotation.
I'm not trying to say he isn't going to play. I don't have a whole lot of anticipation that he's going to play a lot.
Yeah, I guess we're kind of splitting hairs. I don't know. I mean,
I think less than 10 minutes a game.
Yeah, no, I think it's more. Yeah. I would expect this. I would expect him to be.
I'll be honest, is
factor.
More than I think Wesley Rosa will play.
Oh, so okay. Hold on, we got to get that one straight too then. So
yeah, when I'm talking about minutes for him, I'm talking a backup big.
You're talking a minute?
5 to 8 minutes for Wesley Rosa at most.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's going to be that
right.
much. Yeah.
And so that's why that's where that split is.
Right.
I would be a little surprised if DeGorville is playing more than 12 minutes.
So you're not excited. You're not excited. I think he's interesting because he brings something very different from what other people are bringing to the table.
I like
just in terms of the athletic profile.
Right. I like that.
Yeah.
I just don't think this is I just don't know how it all lines up in terms of how much he's going to play. One, Sanford never comes off the court. 2, I think Lenhart's going to play a lot, and I think Cale Jacobson's going to be sort of the guy that's in there when Lenhart isn't, or his role becomes a point guard when Lenhart isn't.
So so game this out for me. It's Lenhart at the point guard.
Mhm.
It is Sanford / Frager, and then Sanford / Frager at 2-3.
Yep.
And then what?
And then Orm, and then Kapke. So that's your 5.
Okay.
And then, if you're going on the backup side of that, it feels like it's sort of Jacobson.
At point?
Yeah. So the thing with Jacobson is he can play. Fred talks about this. He's comfortable putting him at all 5 positions.
Well, defensively, sure.
Yeah.
Offensively, I don't know what you do with him.
Well,
I'd be a lot more comfortable with this guy with the ball in his hands than I would
maybe.
Kale.
And maybe that's the way that it plays out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like there are times very comfortable with Kale with the ball in his hands. Like he's brought it down the court for him this year. He played valuable minutes. Like in the Iowa game, he was playing point at the end of that game when Jamarcus is out.
Yeah, but that was the game where he was making big shots. Like,
right. Well, sure. I'm saying that
I'm not trying to diminish Kale. Like I thought, I know
Kale.
You're
not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I think they're comfortable with him in that role.
Yeah.
And we saw where it doesn't go well. In the second Iowa game, he was not making big shots and he was turning the ball over. And it was, so like there's a threshold there. If he's not playing well, he's going to cede some of those minutes. I think some of where it's easier to slide him in and get him on the court, because again, if Sanford's never coming out, Frager's playing, 30 plus minutes a game. And that's going to be a jump for him, like to see if he's able to actually play that many minutes, sustain being good at that, So the sort of interesting thing is, do you get anything out of Rice or Lanier, the 2 freshmen that you have coming in? Are those guys going to be part of your rotation, or are they really kind of ticketed for the red shirt or, not playing a lot role? I don't think Caden Betts is going to bring much to this. You have Leo Curtis, who's your backup center. The big thing for me, and they still have 2 spots available, they've got to get another big that kind of fits behind Sam Orm and that you can kind of play in that role. Otherwise, they're going to go.
Where's Jared Garcia
sort of
when you
small,
need him?
Like small, but not that small because everybody will be 6'5" or bigger.
So the value I see as you lay it out there, the value I see for the guy that they just brought in to Goreville from San Diego State, the guy they got yesterday, is the versatility. I mean, I just like you have length. You have a guy who's operated with the ball in his hands before, and you have a guy who has, I don't know exactly what he brings to the table defensively, but you have a guy who has positional length at 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
And so I think that's really important.
Again, I'm not trying to say he isn't going to have any value for him. I just don't anticipate it to be he's on the floor a lot. And then when he is, I think it's more of sort of the defense value than anything else. Like, I'm not looking for him to score. I'm not really looking for him to shoot. I don't think you want him out there shooting at a 37% field goal percentage last year.
Mike says this dude feels Kendall Bluey. Shout out to Bluey, by the way.
Shout out to Bluey. My son loves Bluey.
Everybody loves Bluey.
Bluey has a very high approval rate.
Oh, I'm all the way in on Bluey.
As far as having to watch children's programming, Bluey is top of the list.
I'd be happy to watch Bluey.
No,
I think the Betts guy is the Kendall Blue.
Right. I would agree with that assessment, but the difference there is that Kendall Blue played a ton.
I liked Kendall Blue coming out of St. Thomas.
Kendall Blue. Yeah.
What happened?
He just didn't, he lost. Kale took his minutes. And then if
Kale's out here gobbling up everybody's minutes.
If they play a small rotation like they did this past year, that will also cut down the amount that DeGorville would play too. I think a lot of it comes down to what actual role a season has and what they do with these final 2 spots, if anything. If these freshmen, and Lanier, maybe more than Rice, Lanier has the ability to play. That's another guy who's a combo guard that could be involved there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I'm not trying to be as dismissive as it's probably coming across.
You hate him. I'm just kidding.
That's conjecture.
That is definitely conjecture. Text from the 402 before we get to Michael here quickly. The way the roster is shaping up, I think Kale will get his most minutes at the 1 and then as a big and almost never as a 2 and a 3 and is going to average over 20 minutes. Yeah, it'll be interesting. You still have to see how the other pieces come together.
I think Kale's going to play a lot.
Yeah, and then, but, this guy is he's like, a versatile piece to sort of complement that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Nebraska, this is one of the things that never got talked about this season. And then if you're a Creighton fan, you're probably just nodding along. It can go bad in a hurry. Nebraska was incredibly healthy outside of Oogie, who never played,
Oogie,
and
Boogie.
Esigian, who was likely going to lose his minutes to guys who were playing better anyway. So they had their stretch where you had Frager with his injury, and Leo Curtis hurt his ankle after the game against Michigan, so he kind of disappeared for a little bit, and Mast had his bad week. Otherwise, they were very healthy.
By the way, text from the Section 220 boys. Schaefer, the more you talk about Creighton, the sexier you're going to look in that Jason Green jersey.
I'm not wearing a Jason Green jersey.
I
will go to a game and sit in Section 220. We're going to make that happen.
Hit it, Jake.
Jason Green!
Jason Green! We'll hear John yelling it from all the way downstairs. All right, let's take a break. Michael Seir is up to talk draft on the other side on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. More of Happer and Schaefer here on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. There's nobody that I know that loves the draft more than this man who's joining us now via the stream from Philadelphia. Good morning, Michael Seir.
Good morning, Connor Happer. How are you guys doing? I'm sorry, Mike Schaefer. It was not my fault. I didn't make the pick.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. That's the line I'm going with here. I certainly wasn't expecting that to be the name that was announced when Roger Goodell was up there.
Actually, we mentioned it in our text when we were talking about potential players. Remember,
I was looking through that.
Yep,
it would have been a fine
pick
pick if they traded back. You trade back and you get them. You're okay with that. Taking them at 18 just feels like a waste of value.
And it's passing up on the guy that you wanted to, right? Like one of my friends that's here, Tim, he's from North Dakota, huge Minnesota Vikings fan. He's distraught because he wanted Thieneman more than anything else, and it fit obviously need. And he is, I've never seen him, and I've seen him sad. I mean, he's a Vikings fan. I've seen him sad.
It's a default mode.
Last night, oh my goodness, he was miserable. He just
I was annoyed when the Bears took him, and then I saw him walk out with the shades inside, and I was like, all right, I can dislike this guy. I can gin myself up for that. So I'm okay with it now, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
He's on the list. I don't like him.
Yeah, the whole shade thing, I didn't dig on that either. I mean, he's a very good athlete, and but I mean, there's other safeties available. Matter of fact, this is as heavy of a safety draft as I can remember. And so if they still need to go get safety, they can go there as well. But I'm surprised McDonald wasn't you guys' pick, even though I think Banks is a better athlete. I thought that McDonald would go ahead of him, but
Yeah. Well, anytime you can take a big man that has foot issues, you always got to do it at pick 18.
Well, they already got the surgery done, so hopefully the foot issues are no longer an issue.
Yeah, he's still going to be big for the rest of his life. That's the problem. Ask Bill Walton. This doesn't go well.
Yeah, big and athletic is what he'll be.
Michael, we were talking about earlier, like there are just times, and it'll happen throughout the weekend as well, where a guy goes to a team and it's the right team and it's the right guy, and you'll just say, damn it. That team is going to get that right because they always get that right. How many were there any instances of that last night in round one?
Well, personally for myself, like Schaefer dealt with. So I love Ruben Bain. I think Ruben Bain is going to be a stud, whether he's playing outside or inside, and I think he's going to get shifted inside. And so I wanted the Saints to take him at 8. When they didn't take him and they didn't take Caleb Downs, I was a little sad. But then they went to Tampa, and it made it so much worse because Tampa's done such a great job with their defensive line. Yep. And whoever they're rotating in there over the years, doesn't matter who the coaching staff is, they just find guys. They're the antithesis of Atlanta, right? They always know what to do on the defensive line. And so I was very sad that the Saints are going to be playing against Ruben Bain, and Tyler Shuck's been running for his life from Ruben Bain for the next, I don't know how many years, twice a year. So that was one that bothered me. The one that I loved the most by far, my favorite pick of the first round was the Rams by far. Sitting there talking to my buddies, right? And we got a house of about 6 people, and I'm like the draft guy, right? I'm like, and my buddy Phil, who doesn't watch any college football at all, he's like, yeah, they can go quarterback here, right? And I go, Ty Simpson? No. I mean, maybe if they wanted to trade up later. No, there's no way he's a 13 overall pick. And they call him. He goes, I told you. And I go, dude, that is the funniest pick I remember since the Patriots took the strange dude at guard.
Oh yeah.
It's just that you're like, what are you doing? And then I've been watching it all morning, all the press conference, right? Where the GM, let's see, is selling it, and the head coach is just like, dude, we got a Super Bowl team, and you don't want to add somebody who's going to play this year. You want to bring a guy in who's not even a first round pick, who's got 15 starts in college football, which is proven not to work as a formula for quarterbacks. Is that I hope John Bishop had an awful night last night, just staying up all night going, how did I get Ty Simpson? How did this happen?
Did you see the prediction yesterday? Okay,
I was listening. I was actually listening to that when they did that on there, and I felt the same way as him. I'm like, there's no way if they take him, it means that the Jets and the Cardinals didn't move where they needed to move to get him, one of those two teams, or the Rams came back in at like with Seattle at 32, right? That's what I thought. I actually had them. I had Arizona coming back in at 32 and taking him there, so he would get in the first round. So you have the 5th-year contract thing. But yeah, that was just that's a no team deserves it better because I hate the Rams.
So funny.
Awesome.
What did you? So for me, I thought that the draft sort of like immediately shifted when Carnell Tate went
Yep.
number 4 overall.
Mhm.
I hadn't been like super into the mocks, but hadn't seen anything with that. There was obviously some discussion about whether he was a top wide receiver or not. What do you think prompted that pick? Like, what is it about Carnell Tate where we have all these Ohio State wide receivers in the NFL? I'm a little bit surprised that like Carnell Tate's going to be the top 5 pick amongst a large portion of that group.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had him at 6 going to the Browns, so it's not 4 is not crazy. I just didn't think I didn't think that Tennessee would pass up on the quality defensive players. But at the same time, you got to give Cam Ward, you got to give him help, right?
Something.
And maybe they were going to take Jeremiah Love at 4, right? Maybe they were saying we're going to take him, and then they were shocked, like a lot of people were, that a running back went at 3, and so maybe they kind of went through. But I think Carnell Tate's the best wide receiver in the draft. Not much doubt to me. 2 reasons. One, clean bill of health, right? Never any injuries, and we just know what you're going to get out of an Ohio State guy. The second part is he's the best route runner, and in terms of strength inside, he's the best wide receiver, I think, in the draft. I think Tyson, as a healthy guy, you could say he's the better, but hell, he's never been healthy in college. So I didn't have a problem with the pick. It was shocking that it went at 4 because I just didn't think that they would do that. I thought they would trade back if they wanted to take one of those 3 wide receivers. And I'll throw Denzel Boston as a 4th wide receiver, who maybe I thought that later they could come back in and get. But I was surprised at 4 that it was Tate.
Michael, where would be the best place for Emmett Johnson to end up over the next 2 days?
It's Detroit, right? I mean, and I'm sorry again, Schaefer, because I don't want to send him to the division, but it's Detroit because he's right now, even though he's a 3-down back, he's a secondary back. And so if you're telling me that Gibbs is your starter and I'm going to get a guy like Emmett Johnson, who whenever he comes in is going to take the best advantage of that little bit of time he's going to get, what would he get, like 12 plays maybe total, if that many? And also as a guy who early in his career actually played on kickoff return, right? So maybe he plays some kickoff return. He does that as well while he's trying to wait his turn behind Gibbs. But that I like him there. I talked about the Vikings a lot, about him going to the Vikings because, that's one that you go back home. That happens a lot. But he fits as well in the system.
He's a really strong fit there.
Yeah, I don't think there's a place really in the league where he doesn't fit. That's what's great about him, because as a 3rd-down back, he can catch the ball in the backfield and do everything you want. His pass pro is marginal. It's not great, but it's not horrible, right? So he's a willing blocker as a pass pro guy, which means he can get better. And so that's fine. But I don't really see a place that he doesn't fit. The best place he fits is when they need a number 2 back, and that's what Detroit needs.
I was telling Happer, one of my favorite things at the draft, especially now that it's split across 3 days, as soon as the first round ends, I love looking at the best player available list.
Yeah. Yep.
Love like trying to determine like, okay, this is the guy that people are going to be talking about. Who on that best available didn't go in the first round are you most intrigued to see where they line up, or who gets taken here in day 2? What player are you most intrigued by at this point?
I'll say the ones that I'm most surprised that didn't go in the first 2, I automatically moved to the best available for me. It's Cade McDonald. I don't think that he is necessarily a top 10 or 15 defensive tackle in a weird year where we don't have a lot of great defensive tackles, but he's certainly a first rounder. And for him to fall out, unless there's an injury concern, I have no idea what's going on with that. The other one would be, and I know there are people that doubt Denzel Boston. Denzel Boston is Cortland Sutton. That's who he is. And if you're telling me that I'm getting Cortland Sutton, I'm taking him as a first rounder. So the fact that he's dropped in there, I think he goes quickly, somewhere between 33 and 35. He's gone off the board. And then I think McNeil Warren, the corner, the safety out of Toledo, I don't know what the mistake, what his downfall is. I don't understand. He's good in coverage when he has to be on the back end. He's a really good in the box safety. Even if you need to blitz him, and he's coming from a place in Toledo. What else do you need to do? They produce secondary players. They have for a decade now. It's I don't know why, but they do. And so probably those 3. The McCoy one is interesting because of the injury to his knee, and Do you really want to take a chance on a guy who's coming off of an ACL and then also has questions about his knee? Because he was it just film wise 2 years ago, he was one of the best corners in the country. So that's a kind of weird one. I just can't wait for Jacob Rodriguez to go off the board. That's the guy I'm excited about. I think that guy is just the football player that I'd want on my team. Whether he fit or not, I'd want that guy on my team. He does everything well.
How does the rest of the draft viewing experience look like for you, Michael? We know you've met up with a bunch of friends in Philly.
So we're going to this place called the Pub. You got to Google this, okay? It's in Jersey, Passaquin or whatever, however you say the word, and it's described to me as the old '96er. It's like that place.
Whoa.
Yeah, The Great Outdoors, I believe, was the movie. It was, maybe, I don't know, but and it's supposed to be like set in the 1970s and never came out of the 1970s.
That's what it looks like.
So apparently we're going there. So they described it as the food's not great and it's really expensive. So I'm really looking forward to coming all the way to Philadelphia to getting a steak after leaving Nebraska that isn't that great, but it's really expensive. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be.
You go to Philadelphia to get a steak in Jersey, and it's too expensive, and it's a place from the 70s. Awesome.
Exactly. That's what I can't wait for that. But it's a place that these guys have been going since they were little kids. We had a great meal last night. We had we had tomato pie, which is like a Philadelphia pizza here. A bunch of sandwiches. They messed up my sandwich, of course, which is that's how it happens. You go on vacation, they screw your food up. I got an Italian egg sandwich. It sounds crazy, but it's egg, prosciutto, arugula, tomatoes, Italian dressing. It's a great sandwich. And all they gave me was the egg and cheese. They left everything else out of the sandwich. And so I basically got an egg and cheese sandwich. But we had a lot of food, so I ate other people's food too. But yeah, it was it's been all right. And we went and had Nick's, which we always do the first thing we get in, Nick's roast beef, which is just, I explained to my wife, it's bread, it's roast beef, it's provolone. That's it. She's like, there's no, that's it. That's all. That's
simple,
on it.
Baby.
And a little bit of horseradish for me because I love horseradish.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for doing this. We appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you later.
No problem. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Michael Seir. Appreciate him joining from Philly, where he's going to a 70s restaurant in Jersey.
The decor inside looks awesome.
Yeah, the pictures that come up on Google are just absolutely tremendous. It almost looks like a casino.
It does. My first was like, whoa, that's like a room. Nope, not.
It looks like a blackjack table.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. All right. Time for our Friday shout-outs. I'd like to shout out Michael Seir right now for joining the show. Thank you, Michael.
That's a good shout-out.
So Friday shout-outs are coming up next. Any way you'd like to get in touch with the show, please do so. We will get to that. Hopefully we'll get our Friday shout-out to Norbit, as always. Friday shout-out to the 70s-looking restaurant in the Philadelphia area. We'll come back. We'll have that on the other side on 1620 The Zone. All right, it's time for Friday shoutouts here on Happer and Schaefer. Tweeted us at Happer and Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Shout out to Liquid Trucking. They gave us a Friday shout out last week. So we would love to hear from you all. Here's what we got so far. Let me go back to the text line from way earlier from the 308. Shout out to the Toronto Raptors for beating Cleveland last night. I'm 33, and I've been a big fan of them since Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter were playing 20-plus years ago. Brandon from Omaha. Brandon, the first ever shout-out on a Friday shout-out to the Toronto Raptors.
The former NBA champion Toronto Raptors.
That did happen.
One of the more surprising titles that I can.
And then it birthed the short-lived career of Kawhi Leonard. Well, it didn't birth it, but it sent it into new stardom.
It really did.
And then we all ended up having to endure that for the last 6 years.
Now Kawhi just gets, random money from Aspiration.
That's right. Trees. Big trees. Here's Pedro. Hi, guys. Shout out to Jayskers, now taking over Grand Island and the surrounding area. Do you think we're birthing a new generation of Jayskers? I think this show is more likely to make you choose one or the other.
Yeah.
Like I think we're a more divisive
What
show.
is it, Highlander? There can only be one or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Joey literally has a J-Skirt graphic that we have an overlay.
But I think people are listening to this and they'll be like, I can't be in the middle here. It's got to be one or the other.
Look, people fan how they want to fan. That's how I feel.
That's true. And Grand Island is being introduced to the Creighton side of things. Here is Jana from Twitter at Happen Shave. Shout out to the city of Pittsburgh for doing a great job of hosting the draft, and to the Pittsburgh Steelers for their outstanding entrance to the 21st pick. Schaefer, any thoughts on sticks?
Yeah, just make the pick.
I disagree. I kind of thought it was cool.
I don't need
It's a home team. It's the home team celebration.
No, I get it.
Have a heart, Schaefer.
I lived through it with the Packers last year, and that was horrifying.
If they were doing the draft in Lincoln, wouldn't you want them to do Sirius by Alan Parsons Project?
I would have so many questions as to why they were doing the draft in Lincoln that I don't know that would even come up.
Yeah, well,
I would assume it's because they're going to have 32 first-round picks next year.
Maybe.
I remember, obviously, you're celebrating the place of where you're at, and they did this in Tennessee, and they did this in Kansas City, and they did this in Green Bay.
I've always thought the song itself, because they've been doing Renegade for a long time. I've always thought the song itself just left a little bit to be like, I like Sticks, and the song is fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little corny.
Yeah, last night was a lot corny.
But people get into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's their
They're
thing.
waving the terrible towels.
I just felt like it went a little longer than it needed to, and then we had our 17th Jerome Bettis sighting, and
Jerome Bettis walked out. I thought they should have had Jerome Bettis drive a bus out onto the stage. Now that would have been cool.
Drive the Huss bus out there.
That would have been even better.
Huss is just hanging out with Jerome Bettis.
That would have been absolutely.
And then
fantastic.
he just screams, "We own Pittsburgh."
Yeah, that'd be great. I would have taken all of that. I like the 2.5-minute hype video. I thought it was good.
Yeah.
You had all the Steelers of the past out there.
I think I was probably still just mad about drafting future Sharif Floyd. That's basically what it was for me.
Here's Jim and O'Neill. Shout out to 97.7 The Zone for sounding great all the way north of St. Paul on my way home last night. Ooh.
Michael Seir knows a lot about St. Paul. That's where his in-laws are at. He spent plenty of time up in St. Paul.
He'd be up there in St. Paul.
Yeah.
Here's Whopper. Shout out to Norbit, 2007, a film light years ahead of its time. Whopper asked for a Norbit shout out on the baseball broadcast the other night. I just forgot about it.
Oh, you didn't give it to him?
No.
There wasn't time when you were waiting 15 minutes for action to resume?
No, there was, but I forgot. No, don't worry. There was that. Yes, there was definitely that. I think we got a couple shout outs yesterday, but I'm having trouble tracking them down at the moment. So those are our Friday shout outs.
I have
you got a couple.
I have a couple. I want to shout out Kyle who I met at the golf league on Wednesday
Shout out
night.
Kyle.
A regular listener as he is working here and driving around town and listens to 1620 all the time. It was great to meet him. And
Kyle,
then
tell the people that my address is real if you're a delivery driver of some
Okay,
sort.
look at
That's
that.
the delivery driver community does not know about me yet.
did you get that sorted yet?
Not really.
That's annoying. And then also shout out to Second Flight Living, which is a team in the same golf league
Okay.
as well.
There you go. Shout out to them boys and girls or whoever. That's Friday shout outs. 9:00 hour is coming back. We'll still talk to Jake Sorensen and get his blame pie charts for the Royals. Excited for that. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, as always, a couple spare shout-outs. Here's from John M. Bishop. Shout out to Les Snead for everything he has done for the Rams organization up to April 22nd, 2026. That was before yesterday. Yesterday, something must have happened. What happened?
So Seir said this. I guess I didn't realize like McVay wasn't the catalyst of this pick.
Oh, some of the post game. Have you seen some of the interviews afterwards?
No.
Oh, they're very funny. McVay's like trying as hard as he can.
One of the dynamics in the NFL that's fascinating to me is the GM head coach when they're not on the same page. Like I've witnessed this multiple times in Minnesota. Always leads to disaster. Never finishes well. And yeah. Hey, Sean, why don't you get up and talk about your new quarterback with your NFC Championship Rams?
Sure, I'd love to. I didn't pick this guy. He's a piece of garbage. What's John talking about? Well, let's go back to the video files from yesterday's Unsportsmanlike Conduct episode. Here we go.
Ty Simpson be taken by a team other than the Cardinals. Now, this is
Whoa, what's this one? What? So we get the field?
Will Ty Simpson be taken by a team other than the Cardinals?
Is that the question?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if he's going to go tonight, the Cardinals are the only team, right?
Ty Simpson?
Yeah. In the first round?
You don't think another team could take Ty Simpson? You're
In the
talking about the
first round?
quarterback? Yes.
Yeah.
The Rams could. The Steelers could.
The
We talked
Rams
about-
are not taking him at 13.
No.
I was talking to my buddy at the time, and that clip started going around because Josh immediately tweeted out once it happened. He was really on top of that pretty fast, and it became a bit for the rest of the draft. Where me and my friend were just going like any guy that got drafted, we would just do it in John Bishop voice and say, "The Panthers are not taking Monroe Freeling at number 19." That's not it. And then they do it.
I appreciate like
the Cowboys are not taking Malachi Lawrence at 23.
I think this is a 5th or 6th time that I've listened to it, and each time you pick up something a little bit different. I hadn't really noticed it before, but Josh's like incredulousness gets to the point where he's like,
The quarterback?
like as if there's another Ty Simpson that's in the draft.
It was a very interesting way to pose a prediction.
Well,
Like, you know,
and then like if you watch the video of it,
the Cardinals are the field. Yeah, of course the field.
when John goes to reread the question, he has this like smile on his face, like he
he knew he had to
think
double down on the
yeah,
question.
he was like-
he wasn't sure about
I think
it.
he was like, "Oh, I've set something up here,"
Yeah.
and then it totally blows up in the way that he would. Not have
He
expected.
really did back himself into the corner of then
But
the
if you
great part
rewatch,
at
watch
the
for
end.
that little smile right before he rereads it. It's like that smile was not there when that pick was announced.
Yeah, it really blew up on John. So sorry, John, but shout out to Les Snead for everything that happened up until yesterday. By the way, Kyle followed up. He said, "Thanks for the Friday shout out, Schaefer. See you at Golf League. Hopefully not as windy this week."
I'll take anything less than the 45 mile an hour.
Dear Lord,
That stunk.
we got to get that out of here. Okay, so this weekend we got a bunch of different things coming up. I have a question for you. Speaking of predictions, total wins this weekend for Creighton plus Nebraska baseball, over under 4.5.
Okay, so Butler Creighton.
Butler Creighton.
I think it's fair to assume Creighton wins at least 2 there.
I would say so as well.
I think Nebraska sweeps at Illinois.
Okay, so you're going over.
I'm going over.
You're going over.
Yeah.
I thought about making it 5.5.
I think it would have been a little funnier at 5. It was
'Cause
basically like sweep or
I
no
think
sweep.
I think the most likely scenario is 5.
Yeah.
Someone loses 1
Yep.
between the two. But I was thinking about pushing the number up to 5.5 just to see if anyone
Sweep,
would predict
sweep, or
they
no
actually
sweep.
get sweep. Yes.
Yeah.
Double sweep or no sweep.
Yeah, so I'll take the over. Are you taking the over?
Yes.
All right.
I think over's easy here.
I will say this. Butler is a little bit more challenging than I expected them to be at this point.
Which, given they lost the game 30-something to 3,
Yeah.
is fair.
I expected them to be not challenging at all.
They did win one of the games in that 3-game set, like 6-4, so they have it in them.
And they're 5-4 in the league right now.
Which that league,
They are definitively better than Seton Hall and Villanova. who, if you are keenly interested in any sickle ball this weekend, check out Seton Hall and Villanova baseball.
Will that be that be on ESPN Plus?
Probably. That has to be as bad of Division I baseball as you could possibly get.
Those are like quality schools too. You would think.
People have heard of them. But,
yeah. Well, I just mean like in the sense that it shouldn't be that hard to get baseball players to Georgetown.
No, Villanova and Seton Hall. First,
excuse me. Yeah, I said Georgetown.
So Seton Hall has been good. Like they were when Creighton joined the league.
We did talk about this.
Seton Hall was kind of one of the teams that they had to get over the hump against. And Villanova, I always feel like has like one or two pitchers. They're usually pitching heavy, and I think they do have one guy this year. Creighton was down 4-0 in the Friday game, they ended up crushing them in all three of the meetings. But yeah, I agree. Like I don't know what happened to either of these two. They're just really, really, really bad. So I'm going to click on the watch link. Yeah,
it's on Georgetown in my mind, but the point still
it's
stands.
on ESPN Plus. So if you want to check out Seton Hall Villanova, they start today at 3, tomorrow at noon, and Sunday at 11 a.m. Check them out. This will be as good as it gets.
I want the gate number for tickets sold, attendance.
Oh, God. It's at Seton Hall, by the way.
Which I'm fascinated what this park looks like.
The Owen T. Carroll Athletic Field.
Doing an image search of the Seton Hall.
It's not the worst in the league.
What's the worst?
There's a few options. Georgetown doesn't really have a field. They've played at like 7 different home fields since Creighton has joined the league. Butler is famously bad. Villanova is famously bad, but got a little better according to some folks this past off season. Seton Hall is like in a park with a parking garage.
Yeah,
out in left field.
Looks like a college campus building right there, and so it looks fine.
It's not bad. It's very doable. I think Butler is commonly referred to as the rough one.
Woof. It looks like a Legion's.
Yep. If anybody's interested in a little bit of that action, you could find it.
Oh my God, it really is a Legion field
this weekend. And then,
incredible.
So then you have the next two teams above that in the conference, which are Georgetown and Butler, who are right in that 4-5-5-4 zone. And then, already we talked about, not that I want to dive super deep into Big East baseball, but here we are. The very, very clear separation just as far as who's trying in the Big East in baseball and who's not. The top 4 are every year going to be St. John, Xavier, Creighton, and UConn, and that's already happening. 9 games into league play.
Who's in the 6th spot behind Butler and Georgetown if they're fighting over 4-5?
It's just the 0-9, the 2-0-9 teams.
Okay.
Seton Hall Villanova.
So how many Big East teams play baseball again? 8? Is
Yeah.
that what we determined?
Yeah.
Okay. So then there's okay. So I see what you're saying.
It's 2, 2, and 4.
So you basically already know the 4 teams that are going to Prasco Park.
Well, Creighton can stamp it this weekend pretty much.
Okay.
With basically murdering Butler. So we'll see.
Who's
Not
gonna get murdered?
that we condone murder or anything like that. And then there's Georgetown, who kind of sits in the everyone always thinks Georgetown is going to start being halfway decent. Because
I would think that would
people respect their coach, but they haven't been able to
respect Georgetown,
just like many respect Ed Cooley.
Yeah, exactly.
# respect Ed Cooley. And then Nebraska goes to Illinois this weekend, where that's not a gimme either. They've been good in the past. So we'll see. 4.5 is the number. I'm taking the over on wins combined this weekend.
I just think Nebraska is they're gonna hit wherever they play in the Big Ten at this point in time. And so I think that they'll get after Illinois' pitching. I think their own pitching will hold up well enough.
Yeah, they are a little bit more bad loss proof than some of these other teams. And not that this would be a horrible disaster.
No,
but they just because of how solid they are.
Right.
One or two of the things are going to be there every game.
Yeah.
Whether it's pitching, defense, or hitting.
Brudge kind of said this, I think it was a couple weeks ago. You had those teams where it's okay, you got Bryce Matthews, you got Max Anderson, and then after that, it's all right, but if those guys aren't hitting and they're not getting on base, what's the bottom of your lineup? Bottom of Nebraska's lineup can be the ones that set the tone. Some weeks they are. And so I just think that they're going to put up enough runs and have opportunity.
By the way, I just received an email from BTN Plus sending me their weekend schedule.
Where's well, we know lacrosse is front and center.
So with a graph, they sent this along with a graphic. It says this weekend only on Plus, and there's 3 athletes behind it: a Rutgers lacrosse athlete,
okay,
a UCLA beach volleyball athlete, and a Wisconsin maybe beach volleyball athlete. Yes,
okay.
I think that's what we're looking at here. And so yes, you will have the beach volleyball tournament coming up this weekend. Men's tennis semifinal championships only on BTN Plus. Women's tennis quarterfinals, semifinals, championships on BTN Plus. Men's lacrosse tournament quarterfinals, Michigan, Ohio State, Maryland, Rutgers this weekend on BTN Plus. And BTN Plus softball is back in action with 2 ranked teams, UCLA and Washington.
Wow.
Exciting. Thank you, BTN Plus, for that email.
Thank you for saying Washington.
You're welcome. I got you. Also, the Zach Bryan concert is this weekend. What are we looking at for Zach Bryan? Should we set a prediction line for Zach Bryan concert attendance?
I have no idea. It's
I
based entirely off the social medias of the people in my life. There's not going to be as many people as expected.
think there was some initial buzz here, and that it may have fizzled away for some reason. It's not like Zach Bryan lost a bunch of games.
No.
It's not like people were revolting, it's like, they're wearing bags over their heads because they're worried about being seen as a Zach Bryan fan. No, I don't think so. So we'll see what it looks like on Saturday. They're getting set up and stuff like that. By the way, there was a big press conference down at Memorial Stadium today to help announce the stadium project. Maybe we'll get some more details from the folks over there after, I don't know what time that is, but I'll find out here in a second. But okay, so let's set an attendance for the Zach Bryan thing here real quick. What do we think?
I mean, what would the expected attendance be if it was a good show?
Great question.
I don't
Like
even remember
40
what
maybe?
I don't even remember what the Garth Brooks, like, those attendants were.
That's a good question. I remember being there. It was pretty full. I mean, it wasn't sold out. It wasn't jammed to the gills, but it was full. If I remember correctly.
Well, I'll take definitely the under of that.
Yeah, agreed.
The ticket, that concert sold 86,000
Dear God.
tickets.
Okay. I mean, still, this concert is not doing that.
So I don't know if that's got to be, how many shows did he do? Is that across multiple shows?
Maybe. I was only at the one.
Yeah, I don't know, 40,000 maybe. That seems high.
I'm gonna go under that.
That seems high even as I say it.
Yeah,
Like,
30K. I think what you said kind of earlier, Happier. I think that's probably where it's going to be at.
That's not bad. Now it's
We'll
not
take it.
It's not a full stadium show, as I'm sure many people were imagining, but it's whatever. And then as far as the Big Red rebuild is concerned, today there will be a press conference at 3:00 at Memorial Stadium to discuss the Big Red rebuild project. And I believe this is the first time there was going to be a press conference held in the East Stadium.
Oh, a little Friday news dump.
Exciting there. And there will be many folks talking, including Troy Dannon. This is after the vote will go through. I guess that probably the Board of Regents meeting has got to be coming up within the next couple hours or so.
Yeah.
So after that goes through, which it most certainly will, Troy Dannon will have an opportunity to maybe give us a few more details on exactly what that looks like.
I'm curious how forthright and open everything would be.
I mean, there's definitely more stuff that they have decided and they are starting to work through than was
Announced.
set forth in the project announcement last week.
Yeah.
Yes. Like they are ready to go on a lot of the things. Now, you don't want to put pen to paper so much that everybody's holding you to the exactly what it's going to look like there. So you could afford to be a little bit vague about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's some real questions about, like, okay, what does hell, just even for the fan experience, what's the scoreboard situation? Right. Like, what is it going to look like actually in 2027? Is there going to be some sort of structure there? Where do the locker rooms go? Like, there's just a lot of stuff like that.
Where are you putting the students? Where's the band?
Yep. No more troughs.
When does the reseating process begin? Yeah. That's probably the big one,
I assume the band has to sit relatively low for access to the field, right? Or are they gonna like somehow get them some other way?
Maybe they could build them a tightrope.
Yeah. Will there be a like a pavilion or observation deck or anything like that for the fan experience? I have like genuine questions.
Yep.
What's the concourse look like?
What is the concourse look
Are you
like?
going to try to marry it to make it all look the same, or is it going to have distinct different feels in different parts of the stadium?
So we'll see if Dan talks about that at all. A couple of comments here from the text line before we get to young Jake. Texter says they sold 55,000 tickets for Zach Bryan. So how many people show up? We'll see. Nick from St. Louis says Zach Bryan, for some reason, has lost a gazillion fans over the last year from that fight he had when he jumped over the fence, and then his barstool girlfriend that tried to say he was a dirtbag. Whoa. This is news to me.
I knew there was something.
You had a barstool girlfriend. Yes.
I didn't know that she was affiliated with Barstool.
She's chicken fries.
Oh,
that's what they call her.
Okay.
Jake, help me out. You know about her?
I do not know about her.
Okay.
I knew about the story.
All right.
But I don't know too much.
They call her chicken fries.
chicken
like
fries.
she's like Whopper, but chicken fries. Yeah.
Do you think she has a movie like Norbit that really matters to her?
Probably. We should ask.
Call up chicken fries.
We'll take a break. Jake Sorensen will join us next on 1620 The Zone. Tremendous. As sure of a sign as any that the weekend is near. Jake Sorensen joins us now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone Hotline. Good morning, Jake.
Gentlemen, good to chat with you today. How are you?
Good. We assume that you are going to the big concert tomorrow.
No, not going.
What?
Not a Zach Bryan fan. Not a fan.
But
Not
you're a
going.
fan of music and activities.
Yep.
And things to do and not
I
being
like
at home.
I like Garth Brooks. I liked that concert 5 years ago. I don't really need to convince myself to go to a concert. I don't like the guide to go to it. So no, I'm not attending the concert. And I have no regrets about that at all. I had chances. I had tickets. I had free tickets, and I don't want these. I'll give it to somebody else.
So you don't like the music, or you don't like the guy, or both?
I guess combination of both. I'm not a big Zach Bryan music fan.
Yeah, that's fair. But
why do if I don't care if it's a big event, if I have to force myself to enjoy or put up with the music, why would I want to do that?
No, that's fair. I just thought you were a big event
we were just chatting
guy.
off air, and I was like, "Hey, do you think he's going to the concert?" And Happer's like, "Definitely," and then we were surprised.
No, I was probably offered tickets. I don't know, several times. I said, "I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you." I don't really. Have
At least you were polite about it.
We do
say thank you.
Remember at the Garth Brooks concert, that was when you had 4 25-ounce beers and you felt fine.
Of course, yeah. I did feel great, and I would do that again.
But not at the Zach Bryan concert.
But not Zach Bryan. Yeah, not that. It's got to be and they're gonna have another concert with the guy. I never heard of the band coming, Ragweed, Canadian. I don't know these guys coming in.
That's a big band.
Oklahoma,
that there will be a ton of excitement for.
But I looked up their music and I'm like, I don't know everything, but I have not heard of any song. I looked like the top 10. I'm like, nope, never heard it. I don't even know where they play.
It's Turnpike Troubadours, right? And Cross Canadian Ragweed, that's who we're talking about.
I've heard of the Troubadours. I've never heard of Cross Canadian Ragweed or the other band, like Treaty Oak Revival, something like that. I don't know these guys. I don't know them.
Maybe you're just old, Jake.
It's starting to.
No, they're older than he is.
No, but like they make music for younger people, though, right?
I think they make music for older people.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe you're too young, younger. Jake. I don't know.
I think it's a style thing. It's just not his style.
It's not my style, apparently. I guess I got to work on myself, guys. What else is new?
I guess.
Well, what we want to know is new is what is your pie chart of blame for the 2026 Kansas City Royals?
So a little background here, Jake. First of all, we're going to do this during the season. I think we're going to have everybody make blame pie charts on like the
during
Monday,
the football season.
During the football season, like Mondays after games. And we thought that this would be a really good introduction to it because the Royals are awful and you thought they were going to win the World Series and you've given up on that and it's April 24th. And so we want to know who you're pointing fingers at the most.
So I have a pie chart. I've got
how many slices
things here? There are 7 slices here.
Yeah, the math's gonna get weird.
I like it.
Well, and the math is weird. I made sure it added up.
It's the only way to do it.
It does equal 100. This gets kind of weird here, so bear with me. All right. This will surprise nobody, but the biggest chunk at 35% of the Royals pie chart of blame is on Alex Zumwalt. Zumwalt, whatever his name is, the hitting coach, should have been fired years ago. I don't know why he's still there. I don't get it. They have sucked his entire time except for one season. Like, this guy shouldn't be anywhere in baseball. He's a joke. So he's 35% of the poll.
I do have a question, Jake. Like, and I get this. I like baseball. I've been mad at Cleveland's hitting coach too. At some point, it's not the hitting coach that's up there in the box that's making bad swing decisions. Like, they can give all the info in the world. If guys are just swinging at crap, like, there's not a lot you can do there.
No, but I can say there's something about the way that they is approached. I didn't play baseball at a very high level. I cannot speak to the MLB level, but my point is this: they have not been very good hit the entire tenure.
That's fair.
It's 1 year
that
they've been okay. Beyond that, they've been like 25th or worse in hitting. And I'm like, how does this? I mean, I think they have a pretty still respectable lineup, and they just don't hit. They don't drive in runs in scoring position. like it's not that bad of a lineup, but he's been the constant of why they've been bad.
Yeah, they should be better. I'm with you there. 35%. Well, okay, so we got to see how the other
35.
percentages.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Now, the next, I've got two guys at 15%, but I'll go to the first. At the first at 15% is the manager, Matt Quattraro. I think this guy is purely bases his decisions on analytics, which I know people like that. I don't. I'm a baseball feel guy, I guess. I think that it feels like he has touched every wrong button this
Correct.
year.
It's like a mix. He's like doing 7 different things at once, and it's bad.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to to shock the lineup, and somehow it's not working. And he makes bad decisions in the bullpen. It's like every single thing this man does is wrong. And I like Quattraro. I thought he was a good manager. I think he still could be, but something is wrong with him and meshing with the team. That he's at 15% of my pie chart of blame. So now we got 50% down. We got 50% to go. Okay. Moving on.
Yep.
Next up, two guys. This combines for 15% of the blame. Lucas Ursig and Carlos Estevez.
Closers, all right.
Since game 2. But this is a team that has not had many closing opportunities, and when they've had them, they have blown them just comically bad. Against the Tigers, 9-7 lead, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Riley Green ties it up. Next batter, game over. And then same thing against whoever the other night. I forget who it was they're playing, but they're up 1-0 against the Orioles, and they blow the game. Ursig blows it again with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
That's bad.
And Estevez' fastball was bad before he got hurt.
Yeah, to be fair to Estevez, he's only pitched 1 time this year, and it was in that bad Atlanta game.
6 runs in 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah, it was horrible. But he should have never pitched in the first place. So maybe we should re-award some percentage points to either Matt Quattraro or JJ Piccolo or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, Piccolo deserves some blame. He's not on my pie chart today. Maybe he makes the next one, but I guess he should be part of this. All right, so now we're at 14%. The combination of Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins. I don't know what these guys do, but they don't do anything. They can't. They're average defenders. They can't hit. They're the least clutch people on planet Earth. Thank you, Schaefer, for giving us your garbage, Lane Thomas, for your guarding.
I mean, I didn't give them to you. You guys chose to sign them. That's a different conversation.
I'm not really I'm not sure why you allowed the Royals to sign this bum. He's not good. So those guys combined at 14%. Isaac Collins, Lane Thomas. Isaac Collins was 4th in Rookie of the Year. What does he do? What does he do?
He's not doing anything right this year. That's for sure.
He is horrible. He is putrid as a baseball player in every part of the game, and I hope he fixes it. Okay.
Classic Jake hating on former Creighton Blue Jays. Isaac Collins.
3 more slices here. Salvador Perez, 8%. He's getting old. I get it, but he cannot drive and run at all with guys in scoring position. They've had chances. He just can't do it. And he's beefing with Quattraro, which it's fine. I get the beef. But Salvi deserves blame. He's 8%. This one might surprise you, Happer. At 8% also, Cole Reagan. I don't know what's happened to our ace. He doesn't have it. He was horrendous against the Yankees. He's had 1 decent outing this year. He just doesn't look right the last 2 years. 8%. And then at 5%, he's playing better now. That's why I dropped the percentages. But Vinny Pasquantino just had a horrific start to the season. Now he's hit a couple home runs, big double against the Orioles, but he's at 5%. So I left off, Alex Lange, who I do not like at all. Left off Piccolo, which deserves blame. There's a lot of guys that could be on the list, but that's 100% of the.
Okay, so run through it again with your percentages. 35%.
Just
Zumwalt.
Yeah.
15% Quattraro.
35% Zumwalt. 15% Quattraro. 15% Ursig/Estevez. 14% Lane Thomas / Isaac Collins. 8% Salvi. 8% Reagan. 5% Vinny. That's 100% pie chart.
I love it. There's so much blame to go around. No, there's so much blame to go around. There's nobody.
When he said 7, I got very excited. I wasn't expecting a couple 8s.
He's right. Nobody's doing anything right. I mean, so you could really go wherever you want. It's a choose your own adventure thing. They suck top to bottom.
These are going to be so much fun on Mondays.
I think Happer's tweet was like smelly, the smelliest. I was cackling at that at night when they blew the game at the end. Just smelly.
They can't do anything right. I mean, even the stuff that they have always done. I mean, how many times this year, Jake, have you seen them just misplay fly balls in the outfield, or like have three guys converge on one, they smash into each other? Like, so many pop-ups have dropped in the outfield, an absurd amount. It doesn't, like, that's the stuff that really, really stinky teams do.
So who's to blame for that? Is it the just miscommunication, or should there be a coach that's to blame? Is that in Quichwaro too?
I don't know. Maybe it's just bad. Maybe it's just bad vibes. I don't know. Or yeah, maybe that one goes in the manager probably.
That's a cue.
I don't really know. Yeah, we could award him a couple more percentage points, but yeah, it's bad. That's bad. Now they got to just find their way to get back to 500. I was wondering if you were putting any responsibility on any of the new members of the Royals broadcast team, or the fact that you see less of Rex Hudler these days.
I thought about, but before we came on, I was about to change some of this and put lack of Rex Hudler as a percentage reason, but I did not. I don't like it. We love Eric Hosmer. I know he brings knowledge of the game. He's a beloved Royal, but he doesn't have the pop you want as an analyst. Jeremy Guthrie doesn't have the pop. Jeff Montgomery, of course, has nothing to offer besides he's old and was good back in the day. We need Rex. We need Rex and his weirdness, and he can make a bad situation sound better. I need Rex back. I just saw the other night, he's like a sad puppy doing post game with Joel. He's got his baseball as he always does, and it just looks depressed, because I'm depressed to see him in that role also.
He's a great vibes guy. I wouldn't be against seeing him a little bit more, to be honest with you. I know Schaefer has no thoughts on this.
I don't have thoughts. I can't watch it, so I really don't have any thoughts anymore.
Well, we need Rex. We need Rex back with Ryan Lefebvre in doing the games, and things might turn.
Yeah.
At that point.
You never know.
Tough week for Jeff Montgomery on these airwaves.
Let's remember, though, Schaefer, me and Happer knew exactly what was going to happen. Last week this time, we talked about the Yankee series, and we said guaranteed sweep. And sure enough, they competed Friday, and they decided to lay down like a dead dog Saturday, Sunday, not compete. So
yeah, I acknowledged this on Monday. I said I was wrong. I thought that they would at least be able to find a way to win a game.
It was as obvious as that it could have ever been.
Yeah, I did not realize that every team in the AL Central is just so utterly defeated by just stepping
it's just
into
the Yankees.
stadium.
You can't. They're scared. It's like a AAA team,
It really shouldn't be that way.
It's really bad. Really bad. Jake, any thoughts on how the Nebraska ball roster has come together over the last week or so?
Yeah, I'm up. I like it. I like what they have. I like Lenhart coming from Utah Valley. I think he's going to be a good starting point guard for the Huskers. Capkey, I think it's kind of a wild card. I'm not sure how good he can be. I like his energy. I don't know if he's going to replace Rink fully to that, to the extent. I do like. We talked about Sam Orm last week. I like Orm coming from Belmont. And then this kid yesterday is just a depth piece from San Diego State. So I think they're doing good stuff. I like the way they've done this without spending a ton of money. It appears, at least from our vantage point. But I think that they've done a nice job of and I like their starting five. I don't know if it's better than last year's starting five, but I think it's competitive with Frager and Sanford back, and obviously the new guys coming in. So a season off the bench is good. I don't want a season starting, so I think him off the bench is still good for Nebraska coming back. Yeah, and I'm very curious, is kind of a wild card for a guy that is coming back. I think Leo Curtis has potential. I don't know what he can be. I don't think he's a starter by any means, but I do think he's got potential to be a factor off the bench for Nebraska. And I like the fact they retained him too.
Got a lot of Leo Curtis guys out there, that's for sure. All right, Jake. We will let you go. We appreciate you doing a little studying and assigning those pieces of blame. We may ask you to do that occasionally in the future. Enjoy the rest of your weekend without going to the Zach Bryan concert.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Jake Sorensen from The Ticket in Lincoln, and he is the co-host of Early Break each weekday from 6 to 9 in the morning. Your microphone is off. Now it's on.
He will not be at Memorial Stadium.
He will not be at Memorial Stadium. Don't catch him near Memorial Stadium this weekend. Not into the Zach Bryan. Let's take a break. Our bracket sim. We'll get out of here after this on 1620 The Zone. All right, final segment on a Friday. Couple follow-ups here from Sam. I agree with him completely on this. He tweets at us on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed at Happer and Schaefer. This is a fantastic Friday vibes interview. I always think that too. Friday, 9:00 hour rolls along. Let's get Jake on.
Yeah,
just
when we
bring
put this
some
together.
energy.
We knew that
Yeah.
that was like
Perfect
a winning,
spot for him.
Winning spot.
He also says, Sam, of course, a Creighton fan, the quote, the way they did it without spending a lot of money, talking about the Nebraska basketball roster, and said, see, if it's not my money, I'd prefer my team to spend a lot of money.
No argument here.
I did like how Jake, he sort of like couched it.
Which,
it's like, yeah, they did it without spending a lot of money. Nice job.
Did you see Creighton missed out on a big man that they apparently were the other finalists for?
Which, how big?
7'1".
Whoa.
I don't really know how to pronounce the name, but Amadou Sieni?
Okay, did he go to
West Virginia?
All right.
So they beat Creighton twice this month.
Ah! Damn it. Once
What if he said the win in the Crown was the deciding factor?
Well, then I suppose that's something we'll have to just live with.
He set a FIBA Under-19 World Cup rebounding record last summer for Cameroon.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Definitely would have cut into Wesley Rosa's minutes. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, I still think they're probably going to get another big, which is why I'm standing pat on my Wesley Rosa prediction. But we'll see.
I might double down and go from 2 minutes to 4.
We'll see who it gets to. Bracket sim of the day, as we have predicted, Creighton plus Nebraska wins this weekend in baseball over 4.5, as that line was made up by us. Here is our bracket sim for college baseball. We head to the Lincoln Regional. That's right. The Lincoln Regional, as predicted by pair ratings, we're number 1 seed and regional host Nebraska. We'll welcome in UC Santa Barbara, Oklahoma State, and Southeastern Louisiana. They are the number 10 national seed. Creighton has made this projected bracket where they will be heading to Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama, their biggest rival, Southern Miss, and Kent State. I believe that was the same one.
That's the same exact region.
That's the same exact region as yesterday.
But other things are different, so it's not the same bracket.
That is correct. So we are simming this bracket. Nebraska is advanced out of the regional. They will head to Corvallis for the Super and lose to Oregon State. Creighton also did. We haven't done this yet where Creighton's made it out of the regional.
Well, they're often the 4 seed. I suspect that they're fairly lowly rated on the pair. Yeah, on the pair ranking.
You know what's funny? They're kind of creeping up a little bit. Like they're
playing better baseball.
I've seen some, like, if they finish out the way they're supposed to finish out, which would really only be with 1 or 2 more losses because they play Nebraska and Kansas one more time.
And if you win those, it's a boost,
right? And so, like, their projected RPI finish right now is like mid 50s. So, like, if they win a couple of those and then they sweep those series against Xavier and St. John's or whatever it might be, like, they could potentially be an at-large type of team. But, you can't count on them winning every single game from here on out.
Not in baseball.
No. The Connor World Series remains intact. It is UCLA, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Texas, Georgia Tech, Oregon State, Auburn, and Alabama. That is a very chalky College World Series.
Yeah, I got to be honest, it doesn't excite me for some reason. What we need to do with the Connor World Series now, when Nebraska doesn't get in, you need to give it a rating on what the field looks like.
Okay. On, like, how much I would like it?
Yeah, like the Connor rating. This is entirely you. You scale it, you determine the factors, nobody else can tell you.
Yeah, this is like a 6 out of 10.
Funny, because 6 is exactly what I had in my head.
All right, let's go to the projected bracket and see if we can get anything different coming along. Nebraska hosting a regional in yes. Whoa.
All right.
Whoa. Have you seen it?
I got a peek in the corner.
All right. Nebraska hosting the Lincoln Regional as the number 14 national seed. They're hosting 2 seed Kansas, 3 seed Gonzaga, and 4 seed Creighton. And
what do you think happens,
for
folks?
the first time, Creighton has advanced out of the regional round.
Wow.
They won the Lincoln Regional. Oh my God.
Disaster.
So Nebraska probably like sweeps the regular season series and then loses in the regional to Creighton. Oh no. You hate to see that. Then they will go to North Carolina for the Super and lose. So there you go.
So Happer will be in Chapel Hill.
Connor World Series still intact. UCLA, Mercer, Texas A&M, Virginia, Georgia Tech, Oregon State, Auburn, and North Carolina. That's a pretty good Connor World Series. I like the Mercer edition.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech is really fun. I'm glad that they're there. And you still got some good old classic flavor as well. Give me a 7.5 out of 10 Connor World Series.
All right.
I like it. There you go. All right. Enjoy by the way, Aaron Papillion writes in, the only thing that would be worse is if Iowa was in it and they lost one game to Iowa and one game to Creighton.
Oh.
Iowa is not making the NCAA tournament.
No, I don't see a way or a path for
You
Iowa.
don't have to worry about that. All right, that's going to do it for us today. If you missed anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Enjoy your weekend. Let's do a crossover with Matt coming up next.